Chapter 884, Returning to River State. Chapter 884. Returning to River State, Yi-Mo had been out a month and a half. It was almost time that he gave Li Yuqian the Chao Huan pill as he promised, but Yi-Mo didn't go out yet. He wasn't sure if the two old guys had left. It had been too risky to steal things from the two hollow spirit state cultivator, but Yi-Mo didn't regret it. If he hadn't done that, how would he know about all the magical items in the cultivation realm? How could he have his current worldview? How else would he know that he could use the stalagmite marrow to make the spirit recovery pill? The spirit recovery pill was very precious. It was a heaven-grade pill. It was rather hard to make. Yi-Mo hadn't known what the main ingredients for the pill were, but he now knew that it was made of the stalagmite marrow. However, almost all the spirit recovery pills on the market didn't use the stalagmite marrow. The main ingredient was something else. Even so, it was still so expensive that most people couldn't afford. With the mist lotus heart fire, Yi-Mo just took a day to make 4 cauldrons of the Chao Huan pill. Other than the first try, on which he only concocted 1, he concocted 3 on the other tries. He also put aside 1 more Chao Huan fruit because he found that it had another use in things it could be made into the 60-year pill. This pill could extend one's life by 60 years. Usually, a golden core state cultivator's lifespan was estimated at about 400 years. In the cultivation realm, the lifespan of cultivators below nascent soul state was based on their power. At Qi gathering state, there was no lifespan increase. The average was estimated at about 100 years. When they reached foundation establishment state, their lifespan could reach 200 years. At golden core state, it would be around 400 years, and at nascent soul state, it would be 800 years. However, once they broke through nascent soul state, the lifespan stopped increasing as much. A hollow spirit state cultivator usually had about 1,200 years of life. A body condensation state cultivator could have about 1,600 years. Even a cauldron-filling state cultivator only had about 2,000 years of life. Yi-Mo was really happy this time because he had made extreme-grade pills. It was just 5 pills, but Yi-Mo believed that he could make more and more in the future. Yi-Mo had understood now why the pills he made before were at most top grade and middle grade. It was due to his lack of a good flame. Having made the Chao Huan pill meant that Yi-Mo officially had become a level 1 pill king. However, Yi-Mo knew that he could even make level 3 heaven-grade pills. Afterwards, Yi-Mo made a cauldron for the essence pills and 5 cauldrons for the spirit recovery pill. Then he packed his cauldron away. He was ready to leave. Yi-Mo made 6 essence pills and 6 pills per cauldron for the spirit recovery pills. Yi-Mo truly felt his progress. He burned down all of the clothes he was wearing and changed into a new set. Then he took off 9 transformations and left all of his valuable things in the Golden Page world before going out. However, just when Yi-Mo was ready to go out, he realized that he was testing his luck doing this. What if he happened to be on the radar of the 2 hollow spirit state cultivator's spirit sense when he came out? A hollow spirit state cultivator didn't lack patience. They wouldn't mind searching the area for a few years, much less a month. Thinking about this, Yi-Mo decided to release Shadowless first, who would carry the Golden Page world and run. Shadowless was his spirit insect, and he could see the outside world through Shadowless. It wasn't the best method, but it was much safer than before. There were countless bugs like Shadowless in the barren wilderness. It should be no problem as long as it didn't get scanned by their spirit sense. When Shadowless got out of the Golden Page world, Yi-Mo immediately felt a faint sense of danger. He suddenly understood that it was a smart move to do this. Although he didn't know where the danger came from, he could tell that he would be over if he came out. After sensing the danger, Yi-Mo was very careful and didn't ask Shadowless to be very fast. It had been almost 10 days, and Shadowless had only taken him more or less 40,000 kilometers away from before. That faint sense of danger seemed to be dissipating. But just when Yi-Mo was thinking it was about time and that they were ready to charge home at full speed, he had the sense of danger again. He didn't dare to ignore it. Ever since cultivating the three-birth chant, his sensitivity to everything was far more acute than before. He told Shadowless to stop. He didn't dare be careless in front of a hollow spirit state cultivator at all. He used Shadowless eyes and looked around for 2 hours before stopping by a tree. He had understood what it was. 1 kilometer ahead, there was a hidden restriction that recorded one's movements. Once he crossed this restriction, his actions would be recorded. Yi Emo saw this, and he couldn't help to exclaim, "The hollow spirit state cultivator had such powerful means. Such large restrictions needed countless spirit stones." However, Yi Emo was sure that there was no way that they had actually made a restriction with a perimeter of 50,000 kilometers. There might be blank spots on some places, but Yi Emo didn't try to look for them. What if he went into a place with an even more obscure restriction? He might as well try to leave through it there. However, Yi Emo still told Shadowless to walk around. This allowed him to understand how determined the 2 hollow spirit state cultivators were in finding him. Tens of thousands of kilometers around him had been filled with recording restrictions. If they noticed him at all, the 2 hollow spirit state cultivator would appear in front of him at any time. Yi Emo could feel the cold sweat. He had been so close. If he hadn't used Shadowless to roam around for him, perhaps he would have been caught by those 2 cunning hollow spirit state cultivators by now. A day later, Yi Emo made Shadowless walk through the restriction. Shadowless quickly flew 20,000 kilometers. Yi Emo was sure that the place they were at was out of their surveillance range. Thus, he came out of the Golden Page world and got on the flying pike. A few more days later, Yi Emo went through the teleportation formation and returned to River State City. By then, Yi Emo had been gone for 2 months. Even Song Yangzhu and Yi Ling were so worried that they weren't in the mood to cultivate. Seeing Yi Emo come back, everyone came up to him with joy. When he saw their faces, Yi Emo realized how dangerous the things he had done before were. If something had happened to him, his wife and sister's fate would be like his or worse. Chapter 885, Wanting to Leave. Chapter 885, Wanting to leave, Yi Emo saw Jin Shaoshan and said in surprise, "Sister Zhen, you're already at Golden Core State." Before she could reply, Song Yangzhu said Sister Zhen had been at Golden Core State for half a month. Manager Yin came over to send his good will. Even the city lord did so too. Zhen Xiaoshan's eyes were red as she said excitedly, "Brother Yi, thank you. If it wasn't for you, perhaps I would have never been able to reach Golden Core State myself." Zhen Xiaoshan came from a medium-sized cultivation family. However, since her grandfather, her relative's talent had been ordinary. Her father's talent had been even more ordinary, and he hadn't even been able to enjoy the family's resources. Her father had been sent out to do business, but after a tragedy, both her parents died. The reason she had 2 million spirit stones was because she has inherited the savings of 3 generations, just so that one day their branch could have a Golden Core State cultivator. Zhen Xiaoshan felt deeply grateful to Yi Emo. Yi Emo was also happy for her and nodded. "Sister Zhen, it's your fortune that you could reach Golden Core State. I just helped a little." Zhen Xiaoshan shook her head. "I know me. I won't say much, thank you. China Pharmaceuticals is my family from now on." "Okay," Yi Emo had been waiting for that. "Sister Zhen, you won't regret your decision. Don't worry, when I leave in half a year, I will bring you back the best magic artifact. Why don't you choose one from the Immortal Treasure Tower for now?" Zhen Xiaoshan smiled. "Thanks, but Manager Yin already sent me a low-grade spirit artifact. I don't really anything else for now." Yi Emo didn't agree. A low-grade spirit artifact was good, but he felt that people from China Pharmaceuticals should be using the best magic artifacts. Yi Emo had been to the shop in River State City and the Immortal Treasure Tower had the best pills there. Yet they had no high-level spirit artifacts. After some thought, Yemo decided to make a sword for himself first. When he went to Broken Leaf City, he would go to a bigger magic artifact shop. When he noticed Suyu and Shang Yizhong looking very envious, Yemo said, "If you two work hard in cultivation, you won't have to worry about the foundation establishment pill either. By the way, where are Sun Jitsai and Sister Li?" Marshal Brother Sun had some business at home, so he went back for now. "Master is still in solitary cultivation," Yiling said. Yi Emo nodded. He wanted the two women to go cultivate, but Yiling said, "Brother, Sun Jitsai said that manager Yen seemed to have had an argument with someone before he came to congratulate Sister Jin. Your name seemed to have been mentioned." Yi Emo was dazed. He was a spirit pill master. Thus Yen Zheng looked favorably upon him. He also believed he hadn't made Yen Zheng lose out on the deal. His 70% success rate was better than most people. Other than the land, he didn't know Yen Zheng anything. Song Yangzhu said, "Husband, Yen Zheng's dad is an elder of the Immortal Treasure Tower, so he has quite some power there. However, apparently his decision of giving us the land made another manager very unhappy. It's said that the two elders have fought over this countless times. The other manager wasn't happy that Yen Zheng was the tower's representative to congratulate Sister Yen, so due to this, Yen Zheng had to pay for the spirit artifact himself." Yi Emo frowned. "How does Sun Jitsai know about this?" Song Yangzhu replied, "He has a friend that's a waiter at the Immortal Treasure Tower, and his friend overheard their argument." Yi Emo fell silent. The reason he could stay there safely was mostly due to Yen Zheng's support. Without Yen Zheng's support, there was no point in staying there. For the first time, Yi Emo felt how bad it was to live under someone. When he had been at Luoyu City, he was free and did what he wanted. He didn't need to look at others for survival. Power, power. Without power, he couldn't get his own land. Without his own land, he would forever live under someone else. For the first time, Yi Emo wanted to leave River State City. Without the support of the Immortal Treasure Tower, even though China Pharmaceuticals had 2 golden core state cultivators, they couldn't take on the all-pill tower. Go cultivate first. Try to reach foundation establishment state as quickly as possible. I'll go visit Sister Li. Yi Emo really wanted to know if she had reached golden core state primary stage. Song Yangzhu and Yi Ling worked very hard, and they were also very talented. It had only been 2 months, and they were already at stage 8 Qi gathering. In less than a year, they should be able to reach foundation establishment state. After they left, Yi Emo thought in his room for a while and decided to go see Li Yuqian first. If in 2 months Li Yuqian could reach nascent soul state, he would go to Broken Leaf City alone to participate in the pill concoction tournament. But if she couldn't, he would take everyone to go with him. "Sister Li, are you done?" Li Yuqian suddenly saw him. When Yi Emo's spirit sense scanned her power, he said in joy, "Sister Li, you're at Golden Core State primary stage." Li Yuqian was very happy that she had reached Golden Core State primary stage. Yet when Yi Emo said it, she was quite shook. Yi Emo was a mere foundation establishment state level 6 cultivator, but he could see her power level. However, she felt it was normal after thinking about it. He was very young and already a pill king. Yi Emo said desperately, "Sister Li, this is the Chao Huan pill. When will you be able to develop your nascent soul? I'll help you stay on guard." "Did you really make the Chao Huan pill?" Li Yuqian believed that Yi Emo was a pill king, but she was still shook when the pill appeared before her eyes. Yi Emo nodded. "Yes, I promised you so, and I will live up to it." Li Yuqian grabbed the pill shakily. After a while, she calmed down and accepted the pill. "Thank you. However, my mental state right now isn't suitable for forming the nascent soul. It'll take half a month to prepare myself. I'll go for it at the end of the month." Yi Emo knew what she was worried about. She had just reached golden core state, primary stage. Without enough foundation and preparation, she might lose her power, or even her life, in the wake of the nascent soul state, heavenly punishment. Yi Mo said, "Sisterly, if you trust me, I can protect you. That nascent soul state, heavenly punishment, should be no big deal." A cultivator could only have their first heavenly punishment after reaching nascent soul state. This heavenly punishment was called the 4-9 lightning punishment. There were 36 strikes of lightning. Yi Mo dared to say this because he knew that lightning was a huge nourishment to him and a good source of lightning cultivation resource. He wanted to weaken Li Yuqian's lightning punishment by devouring it. Hearing this, Li Yuqian stared at Yi Mo for a long while before saying, "You're not thinking of helping me block the lightning punishment, right? You must face it yourself. Other people can't intervene, don't you know?" Yi Mo touched his head awkwardly. He really hadn't known. Still, his method wasn't directly helping. Chapter 886, Forming a Nascent Soul. Chapter 886. Forming a nascent soul half a month later, on a plane 2,000 kilometers away from River State City, Yi Mo was working on laying down the formation to help Li Yuqian face the heavenly punishment. Although Li Yuqian didn't think Yi Mo could help her, she still agreed to let Yi Mo build a defense formation and a spirit-gathering formation for her. Yi Mo wasn't just laying down a defense formation. He was mainly setting up a lightning attraction formation and a lightning storage formation. Ever since that lightning rune had made him ascend a level, Yi Mo had been looking for a source of lightning. Thus, he wasn't going to let this opportunity go. He made a storage formation just in case the lightning was too strong and he would be blown to pieces before he could absorb it all. "I'm going to start." Li Yuqian saw that Yi Mo was ready and said, she had done all the preparation she could. If she still couldn't overcome the heavenly punishment, then it was fated to be so. Li Yuqian was very calm. Yi Mo quickly stepped back to the eye of the lightning attraction formation. He had calculated the range of the heavenly punishment. At the same time, he was aware that the eye of the formation happened to be at the border of the heavenly punishment. He believed he wouldn't catch the attention of the heavenly punishment with his foundation establishment state, level 6 power. Zhen Shaoshan looked around anxiously, waiting for the heavenly punishment to arrive. Although she didn't know why Yi Mo was so close to her, and he might even be in the range of the heavenly punishment, Li Yuqian didn't have the time to worry about it. She took the Chao Huan pill, and in the charge of a tidal wave of spirit qi, her golden core rustled. All the spirit qi in the region seemed to have gathered over there, forming a huge whirlpool in the air. Li Yuqian had never been taught about the experience of forming a nascent soul, so she could only keep using her cultivation method to devour spirit qi. Yi Mo and Zhen Shaoshan were shook when they saw the big reaction. They noticed that the spirit qi around them seemed to have solidified. They knew that it would benefit them greatly to cultivate now, but none of them dared to. They were afraid to influence Li Yuqian's nascent soul development. Li Yuqian just kept devouring spirit qi. All of the spirit qi in a 1,000 kilometers radius swept down there. The huge spirit qi swirl immediately caught countless people's attention. All of them got on their flying swords and arrived at where Li Yuqian was. The city lord, Zhang Qingfeng, was sipping a cup of tea when his face suddenly changed. He immediately flew above the city. He could tell that it was no ordinary cultivation what he felt. Someone's forming a nascent soul? Is it Lu Jiuqing? Is he really forming a nascent soul? He subconsciously said. Then he flew towards the spirit qi whirlpool. Inside the Immortal Treasure Tower, Yan Zhang and the other managers also got news of this and rushed towards the place immediately. At the All-Pill Tower, Peng Shiping stood up in shock. Who was forming a nascent soul? Was it Boss Lu? That was impossible. He had just gotten news not long ago that Boss Lu was still in solitary cultivation. It wasn't long until they were surrounded by cultivators, watching outside of Yi Mo's formation. Zhen Shaoshan began to worry, seeing that more and more people came. Yi Mo regretted not having chosen a farther place. It was too close to River State City, but soon he calmed down. There weren't a lot of powerful cultivator nearby. The highest level person, there was just a golden core state cultivator. If he went further away and attracted a stronger cultivator, then things might have gone worse. Thinking about this, Yi Mo got up and saluted the cultivators around. He said, "Today, China Pharmaceuticals Elder is forming her nascent soul. Dao friends, if you want to watch this event, please stay outside, 1 kilometer away from the formation. Otherwise, it will be considered a taunt to China Pharmaceuticals." Most people that heard this hadn't expected that China Pharmaceuticals had a cultivator about to form a nascent soul. A nascent soul state cultivator's power was very influential. Although Li Yuqian hadn't reached nascent soul state yet, no one wanted to offend a potential nascent soul state, so no one went near them. They all watched from outside of the formation. I really didn't expect that China Pharmaceuticals would soon have a nascent soul state Qianbei. I heard they've only been around for half a year. Some months ago, there was a Qianbei from China Pharmaceuticals who reached golden core state. No way. How is China Pharmaceuticals so strong? They sell pills, so they have a lot of them. Do you think core forming and soul forming pills are cheap? Even the all-pill tower might not have them. The cultivators discussed, but no one dared come up and ask Yi Mo and Jin Shaoshan. Most of them were at Qi Gathering, some at Foundation Establishment State, and very few at Golden Core State. Ha 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 ha. Congratulations, Pill Master Yi. I didn't expect it was someone from China Pharmaceuticals who is forming a nascent soul. Zhang Qingfeng heard Yi Mo's words as soon as he arrived, so he was very shook. However, he still smiled and greeted him. Yi Mo knew what sort of a person that guy was. He had taken his face-preserving pill and hadn't done anything. He didn't even put a good word for China Pharmaceuticals, much less do something. This person was very realistic and heartless, and nobody could see what he was truly thinking. Yan Zhang had genuinely went to congratulate them. He approved of Yi Mo's pill concoction skills, but he indeed wanted China Pharmaceuticals to get stronger. If China Pharmaceuticals had a nascent soul state cultivator, then even the all-pill tower wouldn't dare to easily offend China Pharmaceuticals. The power of a nascent soul state wasn't something ordinary cultivators could compare with. Moreover, in River State, Golden Core State was the strongest power. Peng Shiping looked at this coldly. He had wanted to wait for Boss Liu to finish solitary cultivation and then devour China Pharmaceuticals. Yet a month ago, they had gotten a Golden Core State cultivator, and now they were about to have a nascent soul state cultivator. If this continued, how could the all-pill tower deal with China Pharmaceuticals? Li Yuqian knew quite a lot of people that had come, but she had to focus on herself. Her golden core seemed to have expanded to its maximum. Just when she didn't know what to do, her golden core started to crack. Li Yuqian rejoiced. She knew that core cracking was a compulsory step towards nascent soul state. Suddenly, the spirit qi whirlpool grew even bigger. Li Yuqian devoured all of the spirit qi. She felt like she needed more. Yi Mo was shook. He hadn't thought a nascent soul state cultivator needed this much spirit qi. Li Yuqian also felt the lack of spirit qi, but she knew now wasn't when she would need the most spirit qi. Once her cracked core slowly progressed to a soul, then she would truly need a titanic amount of spirit qi. However, she couldn't think about that much right now. She threw all of her spirit stones into the formation. She was grateful to Yi Mo. Without that spirit gathering formation, she would have failed already. Yi Mo saw this, and so did Zhang Qingfeng, Yan Zhang, and Peng Shiping. Peng Shiping sneered. They hadn't even prepared enough spirit stones, yet they were trying to form a nascent soul. The naive were really fearless. But he was happy. He wanted Li Yuqian to fail. Yemo calmed down. He still had 800,000 middle-grade spirit stones and 1,000 top-grade spirit stones. He was going to pour all these into the formation later on. Chapter 887, Heavenly Punishment. Chapter 887. Heavenly Punishment. Although Yemo knew that Zhang Qingfeng had large amounts of spirit stones, he didn't ask to borrow any. If Zhang Qingfeng wanted to lend him some, he would take them out himself. If he hadn't taken the initiative and he borrowed from him, he would offend that bleak man. Moreover, Yemo knew that Zhang Qingfeng would never want them to succeed. Yan Zheng would lend him, but Yemo didn't ask him. Yan Zheng was just at foundation, establishment state, tertiary stage. He wouldn't have much. However, Yan Zheng walked up to Yemo and gave him a bag. Use these first. If you don't have enough, I'll go get some more. Yemo looked at the bag and found there were 50,000 top-grade spirit stones. Yemo was shook. He was just a manager. How did he have that many? Brother Yen, thank you. Yemo will repay your kindness for sure. Yemo took the spirit stones. Then he glanced and saw Zhang Qingfeng casually chatting with another golden core state cultivator, as though not seeing Yan Zheng's destitution. Yemo sneered. He had given him a face-preserving pill for nothing. Yan Zheng smiled. He was just about to say something when he heard a sneer. Manager Yen, you use the Immortal Treasure Tower's spirit stones to give to people. Hee hee, you're bold. Yan Zheng frowned. Manager Pei, it's my own earnings that I'm giving to Brother Yi. Is there a problem with that? Yemo saw the man talking. It was a fat-faced, pig-like man. He had a pot belly and triangular eyes. It was very dislikable to look at him. He was definitely the ugliest guy Yemo had seen. Manager Pei saw Yemo look at him and sneered contemptuously. Really? How come did I hear that China Pharmaceuticals' land was given to them personally by Manager Yen? Did I hear this wrong? Is that land Manager Yan's private belonging? Yan Zheng had lost face in front of Yemo, and he reproached. I gave it to him, so what? Pei you. What right do you have to question my decision? Pei you laughed bleakly. I'm afraid of people selling us out. Perhaps one day that person's supporting pillar might fall. I want to see how that person will stay cocky then. Yan Zheng ignored him and saluted Yemo apologetically. Sorry, Brother Yi. Yemo smiled calmly. Don't worry, Brother Yen. I won't mind a barking dog. Pei Yu heard this, and his expression sunk. He wanted to say something, but he got interrupted by Yemo. Yemo didn't even look at him and said to Jin Shaoshan, Sister Jin, kill those who go more than 1 kilometer into the formation immediately. I'm going to check on Sister Li. When Yemo went inside the formation again, Zhang Qingfeng's eyes followed Yemo. His face still had a glamorous smile, as though he was happy for Li Yuqian. After throwing in her spirit stones, Li Yuqian felt an adequate amount of spirit qi again. Her cracked core had started to form the shape of a nascent soul. Yemo saw that the spirit qi whirl above her was growing larger and larger. He knew she was at a crucial moment and needed large amounts of spirit qi. Without hesitation, he threw all of his spirit stones, including the ones Yan Zheng had given him, into the spirit-gathering formation. Everyone exclaimed when they saw Yemo suddenly take out so many spirit stones. It wasn't much for a golden core state cultivator, but for a foundation establishment state cultivator, it was a huge fortune. Zhang Qingfeng's expression, which seemed calm before, suddenly changed. He knew Yan Zheng had given his spirit stones to Yemo, but he hadn't expected Yemo to have this many spirit stones himself. Was China Pharmaceuticals this lucrative? Zhang Qingfeng felt like he needed to research about China Pharmaceuticals a little more. Feeling the sudden increase of spirit stones, Li Yuqian looked at Yemo and nodded. She was very grateful. It's not that she hadn't prepared, but she had limited financial power. Rumble, The spirit chi whirlpool shook, as though lightning was shaking amidst it. Everyone knew the heavenly punishment was about to come. Yi Mo quickly went back to the lightning attraction formation and sat down. Everyone saw that Yi Mo wasn't leaving the nascent soul state heavenly punishment and looked at him in shock. Li Yuqian was expressionless as she waved her hand and a blue light sword appeared above her head. She moved and an aqua spirit armor appeared on her body. Yi Mo rejoiced. He hadn't expected her to have prepared a low-grade spirit artifact armor. It was good news. Her flying sword was even a top-grade spirit artifact. Yi Mo nodded. Crack, crack. 9 chopstick-sized lightning rays struck down accurately on the Yuqian and her flying sword. Yi Mo didn't use his lightning attraction formation yet. He knew that she had to deal with the first 3 waves of lightning herself. His formation could only attract lightning once for the nascent soul state heavenly punishment. After the first wave of 9 lightning rays, Li Yuqian's hair had gotten messy, but her spirit armor had only cracked a little. It seemed like she had easily dealt with the first wave. Li Yuqian was very happy. She had some faith in passing the 4-9 heavenly punishment. The second wave was slower than the first. After about 15 minutes of preparation, 9 thumb-sized lightning rays struck down. Rumble, rumble. It seemed like it wanted to smash Li Yuqian into the earth. Yi Mo began to worry. He hadn't expected the second wave to be this much stronger than the first. Yi Mo noticed a burning smell amidst the blue light. Li Yuqian's hair had burnt to a crisp. Her low-grade spirit artifact armor had cracked like cobweb. Yi Mo was sure that the armor couldn't stop the third wave. Immediately, the third wave came down. Its rays were also thumb-sized. But this time it didn't struck down as 9 rays. 1 lightning bolt struck down first. Crack! The spirit artifact broke, and then the remaining 8 bolts of lightning followed. Li Yuqian's expression changed, and she immediately rose her flying sword. Rumble! Li Yuqian spat blood. Her flying sword had been shattered completely, just like her armor. Yi Mo's heart sunk. Although she had passed 3 waves, her armor and flying sword were gone. Could she still pass the 4th and strongest wave? Everyone had seen the terrifying power of the 3 waves of lightning. Some weak-hearted people had lost their confidence in cultivation. However, the 4th wave seemed to have gotten delayed for a long time. Li Yuqian took multiple pills and ran her cultivation method to speed up the soul formation. Suddenly, everyone saw Li Yuqian's face look very strange. Yi Mo wondered whether the 4th wave, heart heavenly punishment, was coming now. However, after 45 minutes, Li Yuqian suddenly howled and took out a gray shield and another spirit artifact, flying sword. But this one was only a middle-grade spirit artifact. When Yi Mo saw the shield, he breathed at ease. It seemed she was more prepared than he thought. Zhang Qingfeng, who was sneering on the side, saw this, and his expression also changed. Suddenly, the serene sky struck down 3 lightning bolts without warning. The first 3 bolts together were already stronger than the 3rd wave. Li Yuqian's shield had already started to crack, and so was her flying sword. Li Yuqian's expression changed drastically. She hadn't expected it to be this strong. Before she could rest, another 3 bolts struck down. Crack! Zhang Qingfeng saw Li Yuqian's shield and flying sword turn into pieces, and he breathed at ease. She wasn't going to survive the last bolts. Rumble! Yi Mo saw her getting smashed into the ground and was shook. He immediately activated the lightning attraction formation. Without his help, Li Yuqian would never be able to block the last 3 bolts. Chapter 888. Black and White Semi-Pill King. Chapter 888. Black and White Semi-Pill King. Li Yuqian's face flashed a sliver of despair. She was sure that she couldn't block the last 3 bolts, despite her body rapidly getting stronger. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The last 3 bolts didn't stop at all. Li Yuqian used all of her cultivation essence to block them. She knew that if she failed, she wouldn't die. However, the shattering of her nascent soul might lower her power to foundation establishment state. But soon, she was surprised to see that although the 3 bolts looked fearsome, they weren't even as strong as the first one. They disappeared after causing some light wounds on her. Without thinking, Li Yuqian immediately sat up to gather spirit qi and form her nascent soul. The moment the last 3 bolts struck down, Yemo spat out 3 mouthfuls of blood. His formation had succeeded, but he had overestimated his tolerance. He felt that the lightning was about to annihilate his body. He was shook, so he used the 3-birth chant like crazy. At the same time, he wondered if his lightning storage formation had failed. Thus, spirit qi rushed to Yemo like crazy, but he couldn't care about it anymore. He knew that the more he cultivated, the less the lightning would affect him. With this, the lightning sparks circulating Yemo's body grew fainter and fainter. Yemo rested at ease. When he completely devoured all the lightning, he felt even more lightning getting devoured by him from another source. Yemo understood now that his lighting storage formation hadn't failed. There had just been too much power in the last 3 bolts, and the formation couldn't store it. Yemo believed that the formation might have even exploded if he hadn't used his 3-birth chant to keep devouring it. Yemo rejoiced for his carefulness. If he hadn't used the storage formation, the lightning would have ripped him apart straight away. Li Yuqian had attracted large amounts of spirit qi, and Yemo was inside this field. This benefited him greatly. While absorbing countless lightning rays, Yemo felt his cultivation essence grow at a rapid rate. The cultivators looked at the 2 spirit qi whirlpools in shock. After some time, Yemo felt his meridians rumble. He had broken through once again. Yemo opened his eyes in joy. He was at Foundation Establishment State, Level 7 now. Foundation Establishment State, Tertiary Stage. 3 months ago, he had just reached Stage 6. There was just 1 level difference, but the power difference was huge. It was the difference between Middle Stage and Tertiary Stage. Yemo immediately looked at Li Yuqian's situation. However, she immediately told him, "Congratulations on reaching Foundation Establishment State Tertiary Stage. I've formed my nascent soul. Thank you. You're at Nascent Soul State Cultivator now?" Yemo looked at Li Yuqian. Her cultivation essence seemed to have life now. She was indeed a nascent soul state cultivator. Li Yuqian nodded. She tried to control her emotions, but her eyes showed the joy of having reached nascent soul state. She hadn't thought a mere Foundation Establishment State cultivator like Yemo could make her have such big life changes in half a year. Where is everyone? Yemo saw that the cultivators watching were all gone. Li Yuqian smiled. "I told them to leave. I told Xiaoshan to go back first. I'm protecting you here, don't worry." Yemo breathed at ease. A nascent soul state cultivator had the power indeed to give orders. He hadn't seen what happened, but thinking about Zhang Qingfeng running away, Yemo felt very satisfied. In fact, Zhang Qingfeng felt things hadn't gone as expected when Yemo went in. Indeed, shortly after, Li Yuqian's powerful nascent soul state qi rose. She just said, "All irrelevant people leave now or die." Hence, Zhang Qingfeng had to leave. He knew that if he wanted to get his face back, he needed help from his family's Qianbei. He couldn't deal with a nascent soul state cultivator himself. When Yemo and Li Yuqian came back to China Pharmaceuticals, an entire city were heated up. News of China Pharmaceuticals having a nascent soul state had soon gotten out. Many people had to come to congratulate them, and so did Zhang Qingfeng. Nascent soul state was the highest power in River State City. China Pharmaceuticals' business got huge after getting a golden core state and nascent soul state cultivators consecutively. Yemo had to concoct pills nonstop for half a month teach Sunjitsai without reserves. Yemo could finally feel secure since China Pharmaceuticals now had a nascent soul state cultivator. He had decided to focus on preparing for the desert Herb Valley after getting the spot. Yemo wanted to go for two reasons. One was to pay back Yanzheng, and the second was for the large amounts of precious spirit herbs there. Half a month later, Yemo handed China Pharmaceuticals over to Li Yuqian. He taught her the primordial chaos chant before leaving River State City with Yanzheng. Broken Leaf City was near the Heartless Sea. It was more than millions of kilometers away from River State. Yanzheng and Yemo took nearly half a month to get there using flying spirit artifacts and teleportation formations. The two cultivators had been together for half a month. Yanzheng's attitude to him was the same, but Yemo felt he was a little worried. However, Yemo couldn't really ask. They had a good relationship now, but it was based on profit. Broken Leaf City was much bigger than River State City. Its spirit chi was also much denser. One thing that caught Yemo's attention was that there were too many golden core state cultivators there. He could only occasionally see a golden core state cultivator in River State City. Yet there, they were everywhere. He could also frequently see a nascent soul state cultivator, and sometimes even someone at hollow spirit state. When a dark-faced cultivator appeared before Yemo's eyes, he subconsciously wanted to run. It was that hollow spirit state, middle stage cultivator, Tong Wuxing. He hadn't expected that guy to have gone there too. He didn't know if that old man, Sima Zhu, was also here. Seeing Yemo's strange behavior, Yanzheng said to Yemo, "Broken Leaf City is about to hold the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame tournament. Many famous people are coming over. The one who just passed by is a black and white semi-pill king, Tong Qinbei." A black and white semi-pill king? Yemo subconsciously asked. Yanzheng nodded. Tong Qinbei and Sima Qinbei are both level 9 spirit pill masters. They're just one step from Pill King, so people call them Semi-Pill King. Chapter 889, Complications. Chapter 889, Complications. They're also participating in the tournament. Yemo asked in shock. It would be really hard for ordinary people to rank well if these masters were coming. Yanzheng shook his head. Of course. Tong Qinbei isn't here for the tournament. He's a part of the Pill Association. He's probably here as a judge. Those who participate in the tournament must be less than 300 years old. Tong Qinbei is already more than 800 years old. By the way, is your master at Broken Leaf City already? If possible, I would like to go meet him. Yanzheng thought Yemo's master was already there, since he promised that he could get a good ranking. Yemo smiled awkwardly and said, "Brother Yan, I haven't contacted my master yet. I meant to say that I will be partaking the tournament." What? Yanzheng looked at Yemo in shock. He said with a stutter, Brother Yi, although I said a level 6 spirit pill master has hope, but Badash Yanzheng was comforting Yemo. It was impossible for a level 6 to get into top 10. If Yemo's master really wasn't coming, then it was over. Yemo knew what he meant. In Yanzheng's eyes, there weren't many level 6 spirit pill masters, but it was easy for them to find them. Yemo patted his shoulder. "Brother Yan, don't worry. I can make level 7 spirit pills." Hearing this, Yanzheng didn't seem surprised or joyful at all. Level 6 spirit pill masters could also make level 7 spirit pills with luck. Yanzheng sighed. He was just about to talk when he suddenly took out a communication bead. He looked at it and said to Yemo in a hurry, "Brother Yi, find a hotel to stay. I will come for you later." Then he stuffed Yemo a communication bead and quickly left, disappearing into the crowd. There were spirit sense inhibition restrictions, so spirit sense couldn't be scanned out at all. Thus, everyone used communication beads there, but it had a limited distance. Yemo shook his hand and put the bead away. However, he had a bad feeling. He had felt Yan Zheng's concern on the way there. When he told him that the one going to the tournament wasn't his master, he seemed even more worried. Moreover, he hadn't taken him to the Immortal Treasure Tower's place, but instead told him to find a place himself. Things didn't look so simple. Broken Leaf City's prosperity and rich resources were far from what River State City could compare with. Yemo was sure that there was something he needed here. Perhaps he could buy the sword he wanted. Yet, immediately, Yemo realized that he had very few spirit stones with him. Only about 100,000 middle-grade spirit stones. And not just that, he still owed Yan Zheng 50,000 top-grade spirit stones. Yemo no longer was in the mood to shop around. Yemo just went to a distant corner and found a cheap hotel. Yemo was afraid that the Tong black-faced man would come. He was wealthy and powerful, so he would be staying at the best place. Therefore, Yemo went to a cheap place to stay away from him. The Immortal Treasure Tower's HQ weren't in this city, but the branch there wasn't small. It was much bigger than the one at River State. There were multitudes of businesses and powers in this city. Hence, the Immortal Treasure Tower wasn't very outstanding. When Yan Zheng went into the Immortal Treasure Tower, he clearly felt the atmosphere was different. Yan Zheng, why did you just come now? The elders are having a meeting. You need to go in immediately, another manager said desperately to Yan Zheng. Yan Zheng nodded. I know. He hesitated, wanting to ask if his uncle was there. However, the manager turned away to leave immediately, as though not wanting to stay there an extra second. Yan Zheng didn't dare to chase after him and ask. He walked quickly into the meeting room. As soon as he went inside, he felt the tension even more. Yan Zheng saw the 8 elders and a middle-aged man sitting at the top. He was shook even more. Even the big manager of the Immortal Treasure Tower had come. The big manager of the Immortal Treasure Tower was so powerful that he was the #1 person under the owner. He hadn't imagined that the higher-ups had sent 8 elders, and even the big manager this time. There were only 12 elders in the Immortal Treasure Tower. However, he saw that his uncle had come too, and his uncle signaled him to calm down. Yan Zheng quickly bowed. The Immortal Treasure Tower River State Branch. Yan Zheng, greet big manager, and 8 elders. Then, Yan Zheng carefully stood behind his uncle. His uncle Yan Jun was an elder. However, although Yan Ju was Yan Zheng's uncle, Yan Zheng called him father because his parents had given him to Yan Jun to be his son. Yan Jun nodded and didn't speak. Elder Yan, now that Yan Zheng is here, I believe the pill master he spoke of should be here too? How come I don't see him? A sharp voice sounded. Yan Jun ignored that pill master and looked at Yan Zheng. Yan Zheng started sweating. He could feel this elder was targeting his uncle. He didn't know how to answer. Xiao Zheng, since Elder Feng asked, tell him. The master of a level 6 spirit pill master is a pill master indeed. Yan Jun's tone was calm. Yes, very well, but no matter how good he is, we should see him at least. Otherwise, how do we know if people aren't making up stories? I also heard that Manager Yan did quite a lot of things at River State City, giving tens of thousands of eskyom of land to someone for free. Although our Immortal Treasure Tower doesn't cherish such a small parcel of land, it should have been accepted first, right? If everyone does that casually, then the future of the Immortal Treasure Tower is truly concerning, the elder sneered. Feng Jipeng, what are you trying to say? In a place like River State City, is it too much to hire a level 6 spirit pill master for that land? Yan Jun's expression sunk. Yan Zheng had understood. This elder Feng wanted to get his uncle in trouble. The land wasn't small, but it was nothing to the Immortal Treasure Tower. Okay, stop arguing. Yan Zheng, tell me, how confident are you in his master? If possible, let him come here to make a level 7 spirit pill, the big manager spoke. Yan Zheng's heart sunk. It was a small thing, but his uncle's opponent would pick on anything. Although he had heard Yemo say he was very confident, Yanzheng felt Yemo was desperate to get his help. What worried him even more was that even though it was his uncle managing the spots for the tournament, why was Big Manager involved now? He didn't dare to hide anything from the Big Manager. He took a step forward and bowed before saying, "We arranged for his master to come, but his master was caught up, and so only he can come to the tournament for us." Yanzheng didn't dare to say Yemo was a level 7 spirit pill master. He didn't believe Yemo's words. Chapter 890, Sudden Turn. Chapter 890. Sudden turn. Yanzheng's words made the scene fall into silence. After a moment, Feng Jipeng laughed out loud. "There's no way a young man can be a level 6 spirit pill master. And even if he is, you want him to represent our immortal treasure tower to go to the tournament? Elder Yan, you're really ingenious. Perhaps you're right. Before the end of the tournament, our immortal treasure tower could very well become famous." Yan Jun's face sunk and he didn't talk. He knew what Feng Jipeng meant. If there was a mere level 6 spirit pill master in Immortal Treasure Tower's team, people would know that the Immortal Treasure Tower had no power. They would not only laugh at them, but it could even adversely affect their business. Yanzheng wasn't dumb, but the Immortal Treasure Tower had never taken the tournament this seriously before. Yet, this time, even the Big Manager and the other elders had come. There were also other recommendations for the Immortal Treasure Tower's participation in the tournament. There were 5 in total. Even the Big Manager's face looked bad after this. He looked coldly at Yan Jun and said, "Elder Yan, the tournament is important. Elder Feng will deal with the tournament matters now." This time, the Hall of Fame suddenly added bonus rewards for the top 10, so you must get a top 10 spot no matter the cost. Then he looked at Yanzheng. "You can let go of the River State branch. HQ will send someone else there." Yanzheng's heart sunk as he knew he had impacted his uncle. He was kicked out of River State, and his uncle was in some trouble too. He had thought that if the person he recommended got into the top 10, his uncle would benefit from it, yet a problem occurred instead. Yan Jun didn't rebuke as he got up. "Yes, Big Manager." Yanzheng could only say, "Yes, I'll arrange the handover immediately." Big Manager waved his hand. "No need, a new manager will be arranged. You may leave for now." As Yemo stayed in the hotel, he was a little worried. He didn't have the mood to cultivate, and he wouldn't improve much in the next few days anyway. There were 3 days left until the tournament, yet he still hadn't gotten any news from Yanzheng. Just when he didn't know what to do, Yanzheng sent news, and soon he arrived. Yemo saw Yanzheng's face was bad and looked dejected. "Brother Yi, why are you staying in such a distant place?" Yanzheng knew Yemo didn't have a lot of spirit stones, but he could definitely stay somewhere better. Yemo waved his hand and said, "Brother Yan, what happened? You seemed worried before, and now things seem even more serious than I thought." Yanzheng didn't hide it. He sighed and said, "Sorry, Brother Yi, the tournament." He didn't explain why. Even if he did, Yemo wouldn't be able to help him. As Yemo heard this, he was disappointed, but he had expected it. He didn't ask why either. He patted Yanzheng's shoulder and said, "Brother Yan, I know it isn't your fault. I'm still very grateful to you." Seeing that Yanzheng seemed to feel guilty, Yemo smiled and said, "Brother Yan, would I be able to enter the tournament myself?" Yanzheng shook his head. "It's possible, but you have to sign up a month before for that. Now, there's only 3 days until the tournament." After sending off Yanzheng, Yemo was still thinking about how to go to the tournament. Yemo started feeling annoyed. If he couldn't go to the tournament, he wouldn't be able to go to the desert herb valley to get rare spirit herbs either. Then his pill concoction skills would be of no use. Yemo felt he shouldn't just accept his fate. He walked out and asked for the sign-up location. He didn't want to give up just like that. If there really was no way, he would think of a way to pay Yen Zheng his spirit stones back and then leave River State with his people. Yi Mo didn't take long to find the sign-up area. Although only 3 days were left before the tournament, when Yi Mo came, he found out that there was still one more day left for signing up. Yi Mo touched his level 6 spirit pill master badge and was grateful to Yen Zheng. Without him, he wouldn't even have this. A shy-looking girl was at the sign-up place, and her face was clean and pretty, giving people a good impression. Yi Mo squeezed in and took out his badge. "Little sister, I want to sign up for the tournament. Can I still sign up now?" The little girl was dazed and blushed. "Please wait a bit. Marshal Brother Chui will be here soon. You can ask him." "Friend, may I ask if you're here to sign up for the pill concoction tournament?" A middle-aged man's voice interrupted Yi Mo's thoughts. Yi Mo turned around and looked at this middle-aged man. He had an average build and distinct facial features. He had a scar on his chin. However, he was only at the Foundation Establishment State, level 9. There were 4 people behind him, among which a dark-faced young girl, a youth of medium build, and an old man. Yi Mo glanced at the old man a few times. He was at the Golden Core State primary stage, but his chi and blood were weak. Yi Mo could tell the old man was almost at his age limit. "Can I help you?" Yi Mo studied the middle-aged man. The middle-aged man saluted with his fist. "I'm Mu Yiqing. If you're not representing a sect, friend, then I'm afraid it's too late for you to sign up now." Yi Mo hesitated and said, "I am indeed representing myself." The little girl heard this and seemed to have woken up. Sorry, Mu Qinbei is right. The personal sign-up period has ended already." Then she blushed again. Yi Mo looked disappointed. He knew Yen Zheng wouldn't lie to him, but he was still disappointed. Thinking about this, Yi Mo saluted to Mu Yiqing. "Thank you for the heads up, Brother Mu. I'm Yi Mo. My luck is really bad." Mu Yiqing smiled. "The tournament happens every decade, so don't mind it, Brother Yi. 10 years pass by really quickly for us cultivators." Yi Mo looked at Mu Yiqing's face and understood something. He immediately said, "Brother Mu, I didn't sign up for the sake of the Hall of Fame, but because I want to go to the desert, Herb Valley." Mu Yiqing's eyes flashed with joy, and he immediately said, "If you don't mind, we can talk somewhere else, Brother Yi." An hour later, Yi Mo had joined Mu Yiqing to his hotel. He didn't expect to be able to find a spot for the tournament at the last moment. Mu Yiqing was the sect leader of a small 3-star sect, the Pill Herb sect. They didn't have any famous pill master or any special pills, so the sect was declining rapidly. Although they had also signed up for the tournament, their highest rank pill master was only a level 4 spirit pill master. It would be impossible for them to get into the Hall of Fame, much less the top 10. Mu Yiqing came this time to bring his daughter and eldest disciple to experience the world, so he had signed up for the sect. He then happened to meet Yi Mo, who didn't have a spot to go in. He was willing to give Yi Mo a spot, and Yi Mo too agreed to go to the tournament in their name without hesitation. Yi Mo only asked for 1 spot into the Herb Valley, so both parties agreed immediately. Chapter 891. Pill Concoction Hall of Fame Tournament. Chapter 891. Pill Concoction Hall of Fame Tournament. After some talk, Yi Mo realized that the tan girl behind Mu Yiqing was his daughter Mu He, at stage 8 Qi gathering. The young man was Lu Ming, Mu Yiqing's big disciple, who was at Foundation Establishment State, level 5. The old man was the strongest person in the Pill Herb sect, and he had no name. People called him Uncle Zao. These few people soon became familiar to him. Yi Mo could tell that other than Mu Yiqing, Mu He and Lu Ming were simple-minded people that didn't have second intentions. Mu He was a bit tanned, but she was still pretty, and Lu Ming clearly liked his little martial sister. Their sect had 2 spots. Mu Yiqing and Lu Ming were going to go, but due to Yi Mo, Lu Ming wasn't going. Yi Mo also found out that each sect had limited spots. 5-star sects had 5 spots, whereas those below it only had 2 spots. It was 3 days until the tournament. Lu Ming and Mu, he had never been to such prosperous place, so they couldn't wait to go out. Yi Mo didn't dare to go out as he didn't have much money left, and he was scared to see that Tong, dark-faced cultivator, Yan Zheng never went to find again. Mu Yiqing and the Uncle Zhao went to the auction that was held every tournament. The 3 days passed quickly, and it was already the first day of the tournament. Mu Yiqing took Yi Mo and the others to the Pill Association's square early in the morning, but it was already filled with people. So many people, Mu sighed. Even Yi Mo was shook with how many people there were. At the top of the square, there was a huge restriction that separated the watching area from the tournament area. There were already more than 10 judges sitting in the tournament area. Yi Mo immediately saw that Tong dark-faced man amongst the judges. He was expressionless. Yi Mo quickly looked down. He felt a little better not seeing Sima Zhu. He was much harder to deal with than dark-faced Tong. Yi Mo estimated there to be about 6,000 people in this tournament. How long was this going to take? Mu Yiqing told Uncle Zhao to take care of the 2 kids, and he took Yi Mo to sign in. Marshal Brother Mu, there's so many people here. How long is the tournament going to take? Yi Mo asked. Mu Yiqing clearly had been there more than once. He smiled. Marshal Brother Yi, don't worry. Although there are really a lot of people here, the first round is eliminatory. 90% of people will get eliminated here. Yi Mo was dazed. Is there such a high elimination rate? He was worried. What if the first question wasn't about pill concoction? What if it was slightly related, but he didn't know? Mu Yiqing patted Yi Mo's shoulder. There's about 3 times more people this time. I believe the eliminatory round will be even faster. At this moment, a middle-aged man walked to the stage and said, "Everyone quiet down." The once-every-decade Pill Concoction Hall of Fame tournament is about to begin. This tournament is held by the North Far State Pill Association and the number 1 Pill King of the North Far State, Level 5 Pill King, Kong Qinbei. After the wave of applause, the middle-aged man spoke again. As the city lord of Broken Leaf City, I, Fong Hongjian, represent the city to welcome all the friends from the cultivation realm, as well as Kong Qinbei and the 10 famous judges. The names of the judges are Pill Cauldron Sect Leader Qiao, Immortal Herb Valley Leader Ming, Xian, etc. There was another round of applause. The higher-ups really take this tournament seriously. Even that old man, Kong Yi, is here. Isn't that obvious? Look at the judges. The least powerful ones are semi-pill kings. I heard that Ming, Xian Qinbei, is already a level 1 pill king. Yi Mo didn't know anyone other than dark-faced Tong. Mu Yiqing saw Yi Mo's face and realized that he didn't know these people at all. So he said quietly to Yi Mo, "Old man Kong Yi is a level 5 pill king. He's very good at pill concoction, but he usually stays hidden. Another one is Ming, Xian Qinbei, from the Immortal Herb Valley. They usually don't come, but this time they did. They are a 5-star sect." What is the Immortal Herb Valley? Yi Mo asked Mu Yiqing. Mu Yiqing was dazed. He said with envy, the Immortal Herb Valley is the most famous pill sect in the North Far State. They're very famous in all of the North Far State. Many people want to go there, but they only take in women. Ming Xian Qinbei's disciple, Qing Muxin, is a rare beauty of the world. She is number 5 on the Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame and number 22 on the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame. Is she that outstanding? Yi Mo was shook. Of course, Mu Yiqing said. I heard Qin Muxin is preparing to reach level 7 Spirit Pill Master right now, but she's not even 30 yet. Another cultivator on the side heard this and intervened. Friend, that's old news. She reached Golden Core State 3 months ago, and she is no longer in the Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame. She might soon appear on the Golden Core State Hall of Fame. Yi Mo fell into silence. He had never thought of himself as a genius. The reason he had what he had today was due to the Golden Page world and the three-birth chant. He knew how long it had taken to become a level 7 spirit pill master. Perhaps it could take longer than forming a golden core. That meant that if she focused on cultivation, perhaps she would have reached nascent soul state by now. Were there really such geniuses in the world? For the first time, Yemo felt his confidence had been struck. Qin Mushin is strong, but she was only number 5 on Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame. I believe that in the pursuit of Tao, the most important thing is cultivation. Other things are less important. The number 1 on Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame, Li Xiaohua, is worth admiring. He's only 23, someone else said. The other cultivator nodded. The Sea Palace's Li Xiaohua managed to reach Foundation Establishment State primary stage at the age of 23 and become number 1. He's indeed talented. But the abundant resources the Sea Palace has are far from what other sects can compare with. Yemo no longer wanted to listen to this. He was more than 30 years old and only at Foundation Establishment State Level 7. What is more, this was with the help of the Golden Page world. Otherwise, he wouldn't have even had the right to talk. His speed was far inferior compared to those geniuses. Fang Hongjin's deep voice sounded again. Everyone knows that the top 10 can get 3 spots into the desert herb valley. Other than this dash, the top 10 may get a free pill concoction from Kong Yichinbei. The crowd immediately erupted. Old man Kong, ye concocting pills for them. It was a dream. Chapter 892. Sinister Test Question. Chapter 892. Sinister Test Question. Yemo felt at a loss. He didn't need that old man to make pills for him. He didn't need heaven level 5 pills. With his current power, he only needed those below spirit level 7. He just wanted a spot for the herb valley. Yemo patted Mu Yiqing and said, "Marshal Brother Mu, be realistic. This top 10 doesn't seem easy." Yemo was worried if even he could get into the top 10 anymore. If he took out his mist Lotus Heart Fire, he might even be able to get in first place. But if he planned on living for a few more years, it was best not to take it out. Yan Zheng, who was spectating, finally realized why the Immortal Treasure Tower took this so seriously. The tower had Golden Core State and Nascent Soul State, primary stage cultivators. To these people, finding spirit herbs wasn't hard. It was hard to turn the spirit herbs they found into pills. If Master Kong you were to concoct pills for them, then they would easily get spirit condensing pills. He looked up and felt some bitterness in his mouth. They were fighting over the opportunity of letting Master Kong concoct pills for them. If his side with Yemo could have one, it would be his uncle's great fortune. As Yan Jing thought about this, looked up and saw Yemo. He was shaken instantly. How did Yemo come in, and how did he get into the group of people participating in the tournament? Did he find another sect to let him represent them? He really wanted to ask Yemo, but the tournament was about to begin, so he couldn't go. Okay, now that I have announced the prizes, I hope everyone can do their best in the tournament. I hereby formally declare the start of the 213th Pill Concoction Hall of Fame tournament. Fireworks erupted at the statement of the announcer. All the participants entered the tournament stage based on their jade card. Yemo and Yiqing handed up their card and followed everyone into the tournament grounds. Yemo immediately knew this was a special magic artifact. The room didn't look big from the outside, but it was huge once one went inside. Even with everyone taking a seat, it still didn't seem squeezed. Yemo found that each seat had a restriction that prevented others from looking. When everyone sat down, a jade card appeared before them. Yemo scanned it and saw there were images of 12 types of herbs inside. An examiner then went in and said to everyone, "The first round is 15 minutes. During this time, 90% of the participants will be eliminated." Yemo heard this and was shook. but other people seemed ready for it, and no one objected. The examiner said, "Everyone, you have the image of 12 types of spirit herbs in front of you. Please write their names and characteristics on the jade slip provided. Then use the herbs to make a pill recipe." This simple? Yi Mo thought at first, but he soon realized it wasn't. It was actually very hard to form so much as one pill recipe. The only reason why he felt it was simple was because he was a pill king. Yi Mo let his spirit sense scan the jade card again and realized that he knew all 12 types of spirit herbs. 3 of them he wouldn't have known in the past, but after reading things he knew. Thinking about this, Yi Mo rejoiced. This question was made for him. If he didn't have things, he would have only been able to recognize 9. But Yi Mo was sure that most other people wouldn't even recognize that many. And without things, they wouldn't recognize the last 3 types for sure. Yi Mo was about to write the names of the spirit herbs without a thought, when he suddenly felt like something didn't seem right. Then he started to sweat cold. That was close. He almost fell into Dark-Faced Tong's trap. Luckily, he didn't start writing. Dark-Faced Tong, Light-Faced Sima, and Yi Mo himself were the only 3 to have read things. These 3 herbs must have appeared here due to these 2 guys. Whoever recognized the last 3 would be the most suspicious. What a sinister question. It was targeted at him. Yi Mo cursed and wrote down only 9 types of herbs. He might be eliminated, but that was much better than losing his life. Besides, Yi Mo felt that he might not be eliminated, even if he only wrote down 9 names. Some of the 9 were very uncommon too. Yi Mo knew them from the journal written by that Foundation Establishment State cultivator who never left East Black State his entire life. Yi Mo then wrote his own pill recipe based on the characteristics of the herbs. Pill recipes needed to be tested, but Yi Mo couldn't, and he was sure other people couldn't have either. The recipe he wrote wasn't likely to succeed, but he logically explained why it could work. Yi Mo wrote a recipe called the Weave Spirit Pill, a level 4 spirit pill recipe. He wrote it based on a level 4 spirit herb called the Attract Spirit Herb. The Attract Spirit herb had an important function, which was to strengthen spirit sense. However, this spirit herb couldn't be made into a pill and thus had to be consumed directly. This way, only 10% of the potency was utilized. Yi Mo used what he learned from the new illusion cloud sword to theorize the separation of the Attract Spirit herb's potency into many gusts before forming a spirit chi whirlpool to surround the potency of the herb. This way, the potency wouldn't be lost, and more than 80% of the potency could be utilized. However, he made this from the illusion cloud strike, so if it really was feasible, only he could make it. One would need to be a level 4 spirit pill master and know the illusion cloud strike, otherwise one wouldn't know how to control the spirit chi. Most importantly, one needed a rather strong spirit sense. Yi Mo was quite interested in testing it after creating this recipe. In the cultivation realm, those pills related to spirit sense were very rare because, without special methods, they were the hardest to make. Yi Mo just finished writing when the examiner announced, "Time is up. Please go to the square and wait for the results." Yi Mo followed everyone out. He heard the discussions and knew that there had truly been a lot of people who couldn't answer questions. Making up a pill recipe was already hard, and then there were also quite a few herbs no one had ever heard of. Chapter 893, Myriad of Masters. Chapter 893, Myriad of Masters. Yi Mo saw that the judges had started looking at the jade slips. There are thousands of them, but it wasn't a huge workload for them. Most contestants were discussing the questions at the waiting area. Mu Yiqing squeezed through the crowd to get to Yi Mo and said, "Martial brother Yi, how many did you recognize?" "I only recognized 5. Yi Mo heard this and knew Mu Yiqing had been disqualified for sure. 5 herbs, and not even in recipe. There was no way Mu Yiqing was going to pass. You recognized 5 of them. I only recognized 3, another contestant said with dejection. Yes, these herbs are too hard. We rarely get to see them at all. I've only recognized 6, someone else said, but he was clearly satisfied with his result. Yi Mo nodded. 6 herbs were enough to form a simple recipe, but he was soon caught up in the conversation of others and eavesdropped. Martial brother Kai. What were those spirit herbs? They were really uncommon. A beautiful woman in her 30s asked a man who also didn't look very old. She looked very fond of him. All the contestants around them stopped talking and formed a circle around the martial brother Kai, waiting to hear his answer. Yi Mo studied this martial brother Kai. He didn't seem very old, but he was already at false core state. He was probably in his 40s to 50s, despite looking like he was in his 30s. Seeing Yi Mo study this guy, Mu Yiqing said quietly, he's Kaisheng, the core disciple of the Heaven Pill sect. He's only 49. He's a famous pill concoction genius in the North Far State. He even ranked 10th on the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame. No wonder he was so popular. Yi Mo also wanted to hear how many herbs the guy had recognized. Martial brother Kai seemed very polite. He smiled and saluted with his fist. This year's questions are a bit hard indeed. All the herbs on there were uncommon. To be honest, I don't think these questions can reflect a pill master's abilities. Some people are very good at pill concoction, but they weren't able to recognize these rare herbs. This immediately was confirmed by everyone. Some people were very good at pill concoction, but they didn't know many uncommon herbs. The test's questions weren't very good indeed. Yi Mo thought that guy was quite smart. His words had resonated with everyone. He got on everyone's good side without doing anything. When the voices quietened down, Kai Sheng continued, but we also need to be understanding with the Pill Association. There are too many contestants this time. A question like this is simple and can reach their goals in the shortest time. So those friends who have real skills don't need to mind it too much. You just need to know yourself that you're truly skilled. There was another round of applause from the people around him. Clearly, they all agreed. Yi Mo realized the guy first had spoken for the contestants, and then spoken for the Pill Association's sake. He really knew how to react. Kaisheng, stop saying good things. You've ended up saying good things for both sides. Now, we want to hear the answer to the question. You don't need to comfort us and then comfort the Pill Association, a man said impolitely. Clearly, he didn't like the way Kaisheng had spoken. Kaisheng wasn't angry at all. Instead, he smiled and said, "You're right, friend. I was lucky enough to have read a book left behind by Qianbei. Thus, I was able to recognize 10 herbs." Yi Mo heard this, and his heart sunk. Kaisheng had recognized 10. He was so good. Yet, this guy had only ranked 10th in the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame. It seemed like it would be really hard for him to get into the top 10 while conserving his real strength. Yi Mo just hoped that the next question didn't have content from things on it. Kaisheng clearly hadn't read things, but he could recognize 10 herbs, which meant that there were really a lot of capable people in the cultivation realm. Of course, Yi Mo would never believe that Kaisheng had just read some book left behind by a Qianbei. He didn't understand how the Heaven Pill sect worked, but it was probably not a simple sect. As soon as Kaisheng said this, everyone was shook. Martial brother Kai is so good. You managed to recognize 10. I think that even if you hadn't written the recipe, you would still pass. I think Martial brother Kai can improve and get into top 3 this time. Martial brother Kai, what were those 10 herbs? What do they do? Just when Kaisheng was about to speak, a sneer interrupted him. Everyone looked at where the sneer came from. A woman in a pink dress said in contempt, "You've only recognized 10 herbs? What's there to show off about? Looking at you, I thought you would have recognized 12 or have made a heaven-level pill recipe. Clearly, the pink-dressed female was targeting Kaisheng. Those who wanted to defend Kaisheng saw the sect logo on her clothes and shut their mouths. The immortal herb valley wasn't something ordinary cultivators could mess with. However, Kaisheng wasn't angry. He saluted with his fists. So, it's Marshall's sister Guang from the immortal herb valley. My insubstantial knowledge made Marshall's sister Guang laugh. I believe you've recognized 12 types of herbs. The pink-dressed lady said calmly, Kaisheng, you don't need to act like this. I've only recognized 10, but my Marshall sister recognized more than you. This woman is called Guang Wei. She's from the immortal herb valley. She ranked 17th on the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame, but her Marshall sister is famous. Qin Muxin. She ranked 22nd, but that was 10 years ago. Mu Yiqing explained to Yemo, Marshall's sister Qin, come here. The pink-dressed lady waved her hand to someone in the distance. A blue-dressed woman saw this and immediately walked over. She said to Guang Wei, Marshall's sister Guang, you dash, Marshall! Ister Muxin. Say the names of the 12 types of herbs. Otherwise, some people think they're number 1 in the world after just recognizing 10. Guang Wei then glanced coldly at Kaisheng. Kaisheng smiled bitterly, but she didn't speak. Marshall brother Yi. This blue-dress lady is Qin Muxin of the immortal herb valley. A definite genius, Mu Yiqing said again. Yi Emo studied Qin Muxin. She appeared to be in her 20s. Her new moon-like eyebrows with her flower-like face seemed very peaceful, like a poppy in the depth of a valley. Her dark silky hair laid on her back with a few loose strands around her ear. The first feeling she gave Yi Mo was that she was pretty, but she didn't like to talk. She wasn't cold, however. He just couldn't connect this serene, water-like girl with the 5th cultivator on the Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame. Those on the Foundation Establishment State Hall of Fame weren't easy to mess with. How could they not have very powerful means? Was she really strong at fighting too? Qin Muxin walked over calmly and said, Marshall Zisterguang, I could only recognize 11, not 12. 11 is 11. Still better than 10. Guang Wei said. Kaisheng was like a gentleman. He walked up to Qin Muxin and saluted her with his fists. Marshall's sister Qin, please enlighten me. I will be very grateful. Qin Muxin nodded and said, the ones I recognized were the firefox flower, the earth dragon root, the spirit attraction grass, the moon attraction ice, the yellow walltail, the socket with skin, etc. 2 of them were indeed in things. It seemed there were quite a lot of knowledgeable people out there. I wasn't able to recognize the last one, Qin Muxin said. The last one was the sea mud flowerless weed, another voice said. Chapter 894. The Controversial Pill Recipe. Chapter 894. The Controversial Pill Recipe. Someone had actually recognized 12 types of herbs. Yi Mo was feeling less and less sure of himself. Although he knew that he wouldn't be eliminated in the first round, he didn't feel so easy anymore. Yi Mo was aware that the first round's points would be counted into the total score. Even 1 point less might affect him for getting into top 10. Yi Mo and the others looked at the person who claimed to have recognized the last herb. Even Qin Muxin had beams in her eyes, clearly not expecting someone to have recognized the 12th herb. The person who spoke was an old man who was at golden core state, tertiary stage. Yi Mo felt a burning sensation from the old man. He immediately knew that the old man must have a rare fire seed. He was a pill concoction master. However, Yi Mo didn't regret his decision. Dark-faced Tong wouldn't dare investigate the prodigy of the immortal herb valley, but he was no one. It's Chen Qianbei. Muxin learned something. Qin Muxin saluted the old man with her fists. It was obvious that she truly respected him. Yi Mo found that everyone else also looked very respectful to the old man. Mu Yiqing could tell that Yi Mo didn't know the old man, So he explained again. He's called Chung Yejuan, the #1 on the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame 3 times in a row. He's a level 1 pill king. There is rarely anyone who doesn't know him. Yi Mo now understood why so many people were so respectful to him. Yi Mo glanced up at the judge's stage, but he found in surprise that everyone else was there except for that dark-faced Tong. Yi Mo felt a little at ease. It was best that the guy never came back again. Chun Yejuan was a little older and a level 1 pill king, but he had no arrogance. He answered any question people asked him. Chin Qianbei, can you please estimate how many herbs you must recognize this time in order to not be eliminated? Someone asked what everyone wanted to know. Chan Yejuan thought for a moment and said, the questions this time were indeed strange. It's strange because there was the spirit attraction grass. But if you managed to answer 8 questions and didn't use the spirit attraction grass to make a recipe, then it should be fine. Huh, Chen Qianbei, why is that? I used the spirit attraction grass, someone immediately asked in shock. The red-dressed lady replied, isn't it obvious? Everyone knows that the spirit attraction grass shouldn't be added into pill. If you included it, then you will be eliminated for sure. Chun Yejuan nodded. Why can't it enter a pill? Why did they put such a herb into the questions? Someone asked. Clearly, he had used it in his pill recipe too. Yi Mo was dazed too. Did that mean he had been eliminated too? Yi Mo didn't want to believe Chin, but he felt the old man might be right. Chun Yejuan looked at the unsatisfied contestants and said, if I'm not wrong, the Pill Association used it to make the eliminations faster. Yi Mo had solved the problem of the grass not being able to enter a pill. But after hearing Chin Yejuan, he realized that the judges would immediately eliminate you if they saw the spirit attraction grass in the recipe. They wouldn't even look at it, just so that they could save time. So that's it. People around them discussed, and Yi Mo felt worse and worse. He had been screwed up by his intelligence. He could have made a random pill recipe. Why did he have to add the spirit attraction herb? Marshall brother Yi, are you all right? Mu Yiqing realized that Yi Mo was a bit down after they started talking about the spirit attraction herb. Yi Mo waved his hand. It's fine, Sai. I used the spirit attraction herb in my recipe too. I think I can leave now. Mu Yiqing was dazed when he understood what happened. Even he knew that the spirit attraction herb couldn't be used. Why had Yi Mo, a level 6 spirit pill master, used it? Yi Mo cursed. If it hadn't been that he needed to be so wary of that dark-faced Tong, he could have written the 12 types of herbs and easily found a recipe and things. He wouldn't have even needed to think about it. Yi Mo felt down. While everyone else was waiting for the results, the judges were amazed by his pill recipe. Genius idea. He thought of using his spirit chi whirlpool to preserve the potency and fully utilize the spirit attraction herb to make the spirit weaving pill. If this method really works, it would amaze the entire Luoyu continent, a judge praised. Brother Wang, did someone really put the spirit attraction herb into the recipe? Did you actually bother looking at such recipe? An old man stopped checking the jade slips and turned to the other judge in shock. The conversation attracted all the other judges. They all wanted to look at the pill recipe. This is blasphemy. If the spirit attraction herb can be added just like that, then I will eat this jade slip. Yet, Vice Association Director Wang, you're saying this pill recipe is creative? Someone said in contempt. Elder Yu is right. Many people write ** shit for the question. It's already hard to form a spirit chi whirlpool in the cauldron, much less circulate the spirit attraction herbal contents in the whirlpool. At least I can't do it. Perhaps that contestant is better than me, another judge said. Elder Yu sneered, sect leader Chiao. We're just level 1 pill kings. Perhaps that contestant is more than that? Perhaps he's stronger than us, or perhaps he just happens to be able to do something we can't do. The irony in his words was obvious. At this moment, another pretty middle-aged woman sneered, Elder Yu, just because you can't do it doesn't mean other people can't. Sect leader Ming Xin, I'm just stating the facts. Edler Yu is just a level 1 pill king, but sect leader Ming Xin was already a level 2 pill king. The middle-aged woman said plainly, let's not argue if this pill recipe is feasible, but if its theory is right. Elder Yu just rejected this pill recipe just because you saw the spirit attraction herb. Isn't that a bit too rushed? By the way, where is Tong Wuxing? I heard he got a substantial pill book. Let him see this pill recipe, someone else said. Brother Tong just looked at a few contestants who had recognized 10 or more and left. He seemed to be in a rush, another examiner said. Sect leader Qiao said at this moment, since everyone has different opinions about this pill recipe, then we should let Kong Yiqianbei see it. Chapter 895 Black Horse Her Pill Sect. Chapter 895 Black Horse Her Pill Sect. What an innovative idea. Using a spirit chi whirlpool and... Kong Yi looked at the recipe for a while and exclaimed. But then he shook his head. The idea is great, but it's almost impossible to make the spirit-weaving pill. Controlling spirit chi, like this in the pill, is unheard of. Yeah, I don't believe the idea to be feasible too, Elder Yu quickly confirmed. Then eliminate him. A pill maker with such absurd ideas won't accomplish much anyways, sect leader Qiao commented. However, Kong Yi shook his head. Although I don't believe the contestant can concoct the spirit-weaving pill. His idea creates a whole new branch of pill concoction. His theory is also completely correct. Such a pill master shouldn't be eliminated. He was also able to recognize 9 herbs and use these 9 herbs to write the spirit-weaving pill recipe. That is genius enough already. Yes, Kong Yiqianbei is right. I also noticed his pill recipe because he recognized 9 herbs. I believe this is very amazing. Wang Zongjin approved of this contestant greatly. Kong Yi nodded. Give him 8 points. Kong Yiqianbei, wouldn't that be too high? Elder, you didn't care if Yi Mo got 8 points, but he cared that Wang Zongjin had found him. There were only 10 points in total for this round. Kong Yi shook his head. A person who can have this train of thought is a genius. If the spirit-weaving pill could actually be made like that, then even full points should be awarded to him. But he didn't recognize 3 other herbs. Another judge muttered quietly. Kong Yi shook his head, but didn't say anything. He just glanced at the pill recipe once again and left. Just when the contestants were anxiously waiting, a judge came up to the stage and said, "The first round of the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame tournament has ended. A total of 500 contestants succeeded in reaching the second round. I will announce the names now. Please stay behind for the second round. Those who don't hear their names called out, please leave the test region and go into the observing region." Yi Mo had already given up on all hope of reaching the second round. Only 500 had remained out of 6,000. That was a higher than 90% elimination rate. Solitary Cultivator Qin Jira, 6 points. Demon Spirit Sex Yi Zhilong, 6 points. Duo Heart Valleys Wang Hui 6, 2 points. All Pill Towers Meng Wu 6, 2 points. Yi Mo was shook. He knew this round was out of 10 points, but he didn't expect it to be calculated so accurately up to the decimals. He should have been able to get 6, 5 points if he hadn't used the Spirit Attraction Herb. Sea Palaces Zhenlong 7, 7 points. Solitary Cultivator Wu Yonglin 7, 7 points. Heaven Pill Sex He Liang 7, 8 points. Immortal Herb Valleys Guang Wei Dash. Yi Mo's heart sunk. Already 480 names had been announced, and there was still no mention of his name. Mu Yiqing knew how Yi Mo was feeling and patted his shoulder. Don't be disappointed. The Herb Valley only opens once every 50 years, but the tournament happens every decade. With this experience, perhaps you will have a chance next time. Mu Yiqing was also disappointed. He'd wanted Yemo to represent his sect and get into the top 10 or at least earn a spot on the Hall of Fame. Or even at least pass the first round so that the examiner would mention their sect's name. That way, perhaps their pill business would get a little better. Meanwhile, the examiner started speaking even louder. I'm going to announce the last 10 people now. These are the top 10 contestants of the first round. Her pill sex Yi Mo, 8 points. Heaven pill sex Kai Sheng 8, 1 points. Pill Cauldron Mountains Wan Guoping 8, 2 points. As Yi Mo heard his name in the top 10, he was dumbfounded. But immediately, that turned into immense joy. Even he didn't expect to be able to reach the next round with the spirit attraction herb in his recipe, and even get 8 points. The desert plain Her Valley was filled with resources, and the fastest way to get stronger was with resources. Only with enough power could he find Luo Ying and the others. He didn't have that power as of yet. Luo Yu continent was an Earth. Earth wouldn't make so much as a splash if it were to be thrown into the heartless seas. Yi Mo also vaguely heard that Qin Muxin got 8, 7 points, and that Yi Chungjun got 9 points, becoming number 1. That wasn't important to him, though. He was just happy he made it into the next round. Mu Yiqing was also dazed for a long time. After a long while, he shouted in joy, "Martial brother Yi, did I hear right? Her pill sex Yi Mo reached top 10 with 8 points?" Yi Mo had calmed down and patted Mu Yiqing. "It seems I'm quite lucky. You heard right. I really did get into the top 10. Arrogant. You just happened to get 8 points, and you don't even know what your name is anymore," another man sneered. Mu Yiqing pulled Yi Mo to the side. "Ignore him. He's Pill Cauldron Mountains Wand Guoping. He also got 8. 2 this time, so we can't mess with him." Yi Mo smiled. He didn't care at all. The herb pill sex Mu, he, and Lu Min, etc. were all very excited. Even Uncle Zhao, who rarely spoke, was obviously happy. They soon heard many onlookers ask about the herb pill sect. They really wanted to get up and shout that they were herb pill sect members. But instead of letting everyone see how weak they actually were, it was better to let them guess. Yan Zheng looked at Yi Mo in disbelief. He didn't think Yi Mo would not only be able to pass the first round, but also get 10th place in the first round. Yan Zheng finally came to believe that Yi Mo was truly a level 7 spirit pill master. Thinking about how the Immortal Treasure Tower only had one of their 5 contestants reach the second round and only with a score of 7. 3. Yan Zheng felt bitter. If the big manager had let Yi Mo join for them, the Immortal Treasure Tower's name would be on fire. But no one expected that even though Yi Mo was so young, he could have such pill concoction skills. Everyone, including him, had judged wrongly. Yan Zheng suddenly got his uncle's message. Reading it, he quickly went back to the Immortal Treasure Tower. "Xiao Zheng, is that Yi Mo who reached top 10 with 8 points the Yi Mo you recommended?" his uncle asked immediately. Chapter 896. Do you have AF asterisk king problem with that? Chapter 896. Do you have AF asterisk king problem with that? Yan Zheng saw the big manager sit down in silence with a bleak face. He nodded and said, "Yes, the Yi Mo is the pill master I recommended. I didn't expect him to go to the tournament representing the herb pill sect after being rejected by us." The big manager suddenly said in a deep voice, "Elder Yen, as an elder of the Immortal Treasure Tower, you don't even know the skills of the pill master you recommended. Do you even know to what degree you've neglected your job?" Yan Jun didn't dare to talk. If he had known about Yi Mo's skill, he would have argued in his favor, but he hadn't. This meant that he didn't know where Yi Mo came from anyway. He wasn't happy with the big manager's words. If it hadn't been for his intervention, Yi Mo would have represented the Immortal Treasure Tower. Now the big manager messed things up and put the blame on him. Yan Zheng stared dazedly at the big manager. He hadn't thought He was such an unreasonable person. He had suggested Yemo, but if his big manager hadn't intervened, this wouldn't have happened. Instead, the big manager didn't blame Elder Fong, but instead blamed his uncle. However then, the big manager immediately stared coldly at Feng Jiqing. Elder Fong, is our immortal treasure tower a place for you to fight for power and benefits? For your own benefit, you pushed away a top 10 spot. Where is the person you recommended? The one who passed the first round for us seemed to be one of our own people. Feng Jiqing was very horrified. He hadn't expected a pill master from a small place like River State to be that good. He hadn't even researched about him. Yet Yemo was this good. He not only had reached the second round, but also got into top 10. If he had known Yemo was this strong, he would have killed him. Although he had been yelled at by the big manager, he didn't dare to rebuke. However, Yemo was a dead man to him in his heart. Yan Zheng looked at his emotional big manager and suddenly shivered. The big boss of the Immortal Treasure Tower rarely managed things. IR was usually the big manager who made decisions. It was very easy to lose one's life working for someone like him. He looked at his uncle and sighed. If it hadn't been for his uncle, he wouldn't have stayed there. It looked glamorous, but if you offended the big manager, your life could be very hard. He had set up the River State Immortal Treasure Tower all by himself, but it had been taken away from him by the words of the big manager. He hadn't even been praised for any of his work, but was instead yelled at. In the tournament area, only 500 contestants were left. The top 10 had been surrounded by the others, wanting to connect with them or fawn over them. Almost every pill master of the top 10 was famous. Yemo knew what these people were thinking. It was beneficial for their future and their sect to know one of the top 10. The judges up there and the elders of the Pill Association were mostly from the Hall of Fame. It was good to connect with these future pill kings, not to mention how good it could be to know Qin Yejuan, who had been first 3 times in a row. He was a level 1 pill king, and his skills were better than even some of the judges. If he was willing to, he could become a Pill Association elder at any time. Yemo was the dark horse. No one knew him. Hello, friend. I'm Demon Spirit Sex Yi Zhilong. I was lucky enough to make it to the second round. How many points did you get? A contestant came up to him from the side. He had no one to share his joy with. So he found Yemo, heard this name, and remembered that he had gotten 6 points, barely making it. Yemo saluted with his fists and said, I'm her pill sex Yemo. I was lucky to make it to the second round too. Brother Yi, your surname is also Yi. It seems we're really fortunate. Sorry, I've never heard of the herb pill sect. Yi Zhilong had an apologetic look on his face. Perhaps he had gotten so excited that he hadn't found out that Yemo was top 10. Yemo smiled and didn't get angry. He knew Yi Zhilong was speaking his heart. The funny thing was that he hadn't heard of the Demon Spirit sect, neither. So, it's the Yemo who is said to be halfway into the top 10 of the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame. You're good. I, Wan Guoping, want to see how you're going to get into the top 10 of the Hall of Fame. But it seems you're not that good. You're stick around with a little P asterisk and K from the demon sect. A contemptuous voice interrupted them. You're her pill sex Yemo, top 10 of the first round. Yi Zhiping remembered now and looked at Yemo in shock. Yemo saw that Wan Guoping was looking for trouble with him more than once. He stared coldly at him. What has me being in top 10 got to do with you? I'm talking with someone from the demon sect. Do you have any F asterisk king problem with that? Yes. Do you have a F asterisk king problem with that, Wan Guoping? Ha ha ha. I, Zhuang man, like these sort of words dash. A coarse voice sounded and laughed. Yemo found a man that looked extremely bulky. He was nearly 2 meters tall. His were full of muscles. Yemo really couldn't picture such a person to be a pill master. Wait. Zhuang man. He was from the All Beast Mountain with 6 points. Yi Mo sighed. One really couldn't judge a book by its cover. Wan Guoping saw this, and his expression looked bad. Zhuang, you're really going to go against me, aren't you? Go against you? Do you deserve it? Let your Pill Cauldron Mountain's big martial brother decide this. Then, Zhuang Man couldn't even be bothered to look at him. He walked up to Yi Mo and saluted him with his fists. I'm the All-Beast Mountain's Zhuang Man. I highly approve of Brother Yi. I'm different from you. I have large amounts of spirit herbs and materials supplied by the sect to concoct pills and good masters to teach me. Only then did I get 8 points. However, brother, you relied on yourself to get 8 points. I look favorably to you. Zhuang Man looked coarse, but he was quite meticulous. He could tell that guy was no simple character. He had slapped Wan Guoping's face to get on his good side. Perhaps he was using him to strike Wan Guoping, but Yi Mo didn't care. At this moment, the examiner said, All contestants, the first round has finished. The second round is about to begin. Please find a place to sit and listen to the second question. Chapter 897. Concocting the Spirit-Weaving Pill. Chapter 897. Concocting the Spirit-Weaving Pill, everyone sat down and prepared himself. The examiner announced, The second question is based on the first question. Everyone here recognized at least 6 herbs. The second question is for you to concoct the pill recipe you made based on the herbs you recognized in the first quest dash. Before the examiner finished, the scene already erupted. Yi Mo's heart sunk too. Had he made the wrong decision? The pill recipe each cultivator made was only theoretical, just like his spirit-weaving pill. It was too hard to make a pill purely based on theory. The other pill masters had similar thoughts, so it was very noisy. Yi Mo frowned, but he didn't make a noise. He didn't believe that the examiners and judges couldn't think of this. When the noise quietened down, the main examiner spoke again. Everyone quiet down and listen to the question. If you miss something, that will be your responsibility. The voices suddenly stopped. Clearly, no one wanted to miss anything. The examiner nodded and continued. The second round's points aren't based on the pill being concocted or not. Of course, if you were to actually make the pill you wrote about, you will definitely reach the third round. The main points of the second round, however, will be awarded for the herbal refinement and pill concoction steps. Everyone will get the herbs they recognized in the first round and start the pill concoction. The cauldrons you use are special ones provided by the Pill Association that can record your herbal refinement and pill concoction process. The final points will be awarded based on your pill concoction skill. No matter who it was, they had to refine the herbs with fire before concocting a pill. So the second round was based on herbal refinement. As for the actual pill concoction, it was probably prepared for the top 10. Not everyone could concoct the recipe that they had made impromptu. Someone asked, Does this mean it's more beneficial to those who recognized more herbs? Wouldn't this be unfair? The examiner replied calmly, You know in your heart whether it's fair or not. If other people were able to recognize the herbs, why couldn't you? Moreover, if you can only refine one herb, but refine it to 100%, then no one else might have as high marks as you even if they refine 12 herbs. If you just recognize 6 herbs and your refinement isn't too good, but you make the pill you devised on the spot, you will also still have higher points than others. If you weren't able to make your own recipe, will your final mark be 0? Another cultivator asked. The examiner looked at him and said, You clearly didn't listen to my words. Your pill concoction methods also count towards your marks. They are recorded, and the judges will give points accordingly. If your process was perfect, then even if the pill wasn't formed, your points won't be low. Yi Mo recognized 9 herbs, so even if he couldn't make the spirit-weaving pill, his refinement technique wouldn't lose to anyone, even if he didn't use the mist lotus heart fire. He should be able to refine the herbs more than 90%. The pill concoction process, also counting, was good news to him. Even if he didn't make the spirit-weaving pill, he shouldn't have low marks. After the question came out, even the spectators were discussing that although everybody had a chance, clearly those who had recognized more herbs stood a better chance. Yemo and the others didn't wait too long before getting their cauldrons and herbs. His number was 10, as he was ranked 10th in the first round. He checked his cauldron with his spirit sense and found a recording formation indeed. The contestant couldn't see the data, but it definitely was being transmitted through a special formation to the judges. Yemo didn't start refining immediately. He only had 9 herbs, and he only had 1 chance. He wanted to see how good the other contestants were. Yemo scanned the contestants and was shook. Out of the 500 people, he saw 12 types of pill fire and 6 rare fire seeds. Pill fire was an external fire, and it couldn't live too long. It was harvested by cultivators to become their fire for pill concoction or forgery. But pill fires were far inferior to the rare fires of heaven and earth. They were much stronger than one's own chi fire, however. Other than this, Kai Shang of the Heaven Pill sect was using the stone skin fire, ranked 30th in the cultivation realm. One other cultivator who was among the top 10 used the bleak Qianbone flame, ranked 19th. Mu Qinshin used a blue phoenix flame, ranked 21st. Yemo looked at Zhuang Man. He used Beast Heart Fire, ranked 27th, while the old man who had ranked first used Kenshin Fire. Yemo took back his spirit sense and started using his own foundation establishment state chi fire. He didn't dare to use the Mist Lotus Heart Fire. Most people were disappointed by the flame Yemo used. This meant that he was just a solitary cultivator. If he were to do anything exceptional, many sects would want Yemo, but Yemo didn't even have a rare flame. A pill master's future was mostly based on his flame. Without a rare fire, he wouldn't be able to become a strong pill master, much less a pill king. Rare flames weren't something ordinary people could get in the first place. They were passed down by the sect. Nobody would think Yemo could get a rare flame by himself. Still, even some other contestants rested easy after seeing Yemo take out his foundation establishment state chi fire. Yemo didn't hold back in terms of skill, though, and went on to refine 3 herbs at a time. His chi fire wasn't as fast as those rare flames, so his speed was just average, but Yemo had his strong points. His pill formation was very fast. Once the herbs were refined, no one would be able to beat him in terms of pill formation speed. After the 9 gusts of herbal liquid were refined, Yemo simply threw the impurities outside of the cauldron and started to control the liquids with his spirit sense. He was very careful. Making the spirit-weaving pill was his only certain way of getting a good mark. The pill had a high requirement for spirit sense, so Yemo took out more than 70% of his spirit sense to form the spirit chi whirlpool to separate the herbal attributes of the spirit attraction grass. He used the remaining 30% to control the other 8 herbs. The whole process was even harder than making the Chao Huan pill. Chapter 898, Shocking the Scene. Chapter 898. Shocking the Scene, not all judges neglected Yemo. The sect leader of the Immortal Herb Valley, Ming Xian, recognized Yemo for his spirit-weaving pill with the 9 herbs. 3 of the 12 herbs had been supplied by Tong Wuxing, and only because they had been supplied were they added to the test. Even Ming Xian only knew 2 of the 3, and that had been thanks to a special occasion. They were very uncommon. Yemo has managed to recognize 9. He had just missed the 3 supplied by Tong Wuxing. In Ming Xian's eyes, Yemo's knowledge was already very rich. The main thing was that she was very interested in the spirit-weaving pill Yemo had created. She believed that someone who could create something like this was definitely a genius. Hence, she had been watching Yemo. She sighed when she saw Zhuang Man try to connect with Yemo. 2 disciples from her sect had passed to the first round, but both of them, Qin Muxin and Guangwei, had been chatting with Yi Qingjun and ignored Yi Mo. She felt that although Chang Yejuan was the pill concoction hall of fame's #1 and a level 1 pill king, he wasn't important to their sect. He was near the end of his lifespan, and if he couldn't break through, being a level 1 pill king would be his limit. Moreover, she was a level 2 pill king herself. When she saw Yi Mo use Qi Fire, she was disappointed. However, she didn't move her attention. Yi Mo didn't disappoint her. She had checked Yi Mo's refinement level immediately. She found that all 9 herbs had been refined more than 93%. She took a breath in and couldn't help to compliment him to herself. Such skill! Refining herbs more than 93% with an ordinary foundation establishment state Qi Fire is impressive. When she saw Yi Mo start pill concoction without stopping at all, she almost stood up in shock. He's really starting to make the spirit-weaving pill. Yi Mo was using his spirit sense to make the herbal liquid spin inside the cauldron. He weaved pill signs one by one. He didn't care if it wasn't being recorded at all. He knew that they could only record his hand signs, but the pill signs wouldn't be recorded. Yi Mo no longer cared if he could make the spirit-weaving pill. He just wanted to do his best within his capabilities. Even if he failed, he would get a good mark. The herbal liquid kept taking form and getting separated by his pill signs. After 15 minutes, the herbal liquid in the cauldron had spiritual attributes. Yi Mo then used the illusion cloud's illusion cloud, whirlpool strike, spirit chi technique into the pill. Yi Mo knew that this was the most crucial step which would determine if his spirit-weaving pill could succeed. If he failed, it wasn't likely that he could reach the top 10. Yi Mo knew that he would eventually be able to succeed if he had a pile of herbs to practice with, but he only had one chance in this tournament. When sect leader Ming Xian saw Yi Mo really form spirit chi whirlpools in the cauldron and control them to direct the spirit attraction grass's herbal attributes into the whirlpool, she was shook. She didn't dare to believe this was real, but it was more real than ever. She looked at the surveillance formation dazedly and kept asking herself how could that cultivator do it? How could he control the spirit chi whirlpool and form multiple ones in the cauldron while using his spirit sense to lead the herbal attribute into it? Had he concocted pills like that one before? Otherwise, he would have never been able to do it. Little did she know that Yi Mo had only used such technique while fighting. Yi Mo was probably the first guy to use a sword technique in pill concoction. Yi Mo was sweating a lot. He had enough cultivation essence, but his spirit sense was getting exhausted. Yi Mo wanted to form 9 spirit chi whirlpools, but when he started controlling the 5th, his sea of consciousness hurt as though needles were stabbing it. It was too difficult. Yi Mo yelled. Not good. Usually he would have given up already. Using his spirit sense so much was hurting his sea of consciousness, but he knew that he couldn't give up now. Yi Mo took a spirit recovery pill without thinking. With the pill, the 9 spirit chi whirlpools got formed. Yi Mo rejoiced. If he stabilized the eddies and pulled the pill out, everything would end up well. Yi Mo had wanted to form a spirit chi whirlpool for every pill, but now he had changed his mind. He decided to use 3 whirlpools per pill. There were 9 in total, so he would concoct 3 spirit-weaving pills. Yi Mo was aware that when he was more familiar with this pill concoction method, he would be able to concoct 9 pills per cauldron, each pill having 1 whirlpool. Pulling a pill out was easy, but spirit-weaving pill was a completely different story. If he handled it just slightly incorrectly, the spirit-weaving pill would become a useless pill. When the first liquid was pulled out, Yi Mo felt his spirit shake. Crack! Yi Mo cursed. One of the 3 pills had turned into dust. Yi Mo didn't dare to hesitate. He charged at it again with a few pill signs and separated them with his 2 hands. 2 spirit-weaving pill flew out of the cauldron into the jade bottles Yi Mo had prepared. Yi Mo wiped his sweat. Strictly speaking, his cauldron of pills had failed. However, he had the spirit recovery pill, the strong pill pulling technique and excellent pill signs, thanks to which he finally succeeded in concocting 2 pills. Yi Mo wasn't too happy, however. The spirit attraction grass had lost a part of its herbal qualities when he was refining it. Also, it had lost some more when he had been inundating the pill with spirit whirlpool. However, Ming Xian was full of shock at that moment. She hadn't expected Yi Mo to actually be able to concoct the spirit weaving pill. Not only that, he had made it, but with an ordinary cauldron and an ordinary qi fire. This meant that if he had a better pill fire and a better cauldron with a bit more practice, he could make it easily. Genius, Ming Xian murmured. Do such geniuses really exist? She really wanted to approach Yi Mo and look at his spirit weaving pill. Could it really recover spirit sense? Chapter 899. Kong Ye's Excitement. Chapter 899. Kong Ye's Excitement. What genius! A judge heard Ming Xian's murmurs and asked, but right after that he was dazed as his eye fell on the surveillance formation. He paused and exclaimed, "He really made the spirit-weaving pill!" He was so shook because it was a spirit sense-healing pill, and even Kong Yi said it would be impossible to make. Yet this fellow really made it. Spirit sense recovery pills were rare. They were at least heaven-grade pills. Ordinary people wouldn't even be able to see one, much less use them. People mostly used spirit attraction grass directly to repair their spirit sense, but that was actually a huge waste of its potency. This caused most cultivators who had their spirit sense injured to never be recovered. If someone really created the spirit-weaving pill that would fill the missing gap in terms of spirit sense recovery pills, it would cause an uproar in the entire Luoyu continent. Yet this pill was created by a pill concoctor in this tournament. Yi Mo evaluated his process and let go of his spirit-weaving pill as he started checking out the other contestants after opening the restriction around his spot. Yi Mo immediately heard a few explosions. He looked over, and a contestant was jumping around with ash all over his face. Clearly, his pill and cauldron had exploded. When Yi Mo scanned other places, he found out that there were far more explosions than just that one. There were tens of explosions on just a casual glance. Yi Mo knew that this was unavoidable. This involved a new pill recipe after all, and everyone wanted to succeed on the first time. Usually, people would stop if they knew they couldn't finish the pill. But this was a tournament, and so they forced it until the end. This resulted in explosions. Yi Mo then looked at Yi Qingjun and saw him pull out 3 pills. Yi Mo sighed. This old guy was good indeed. As expected of the triple first-placed Hall of Fame winner, he designed a recipe, made it, and even ended up with 1 more pill than Yi Mo. His capabilities was perfect, recognizing 12 herbs, designing the right recipe, and successfully making it. The first to finish is Yi Mo from stage number 10. This is unexpected, the judges noticed and said. They all went to watch Yi Mo's surveillance formation. He really made it. How is this possible? Amazing, amazing. If it really is the spirit-weaving pill, Yi Mo's contribution to the Luoyu continent is immeasurable. Who is this Yi Mo? Herb pill sect? What sect is this? How come I've never heard of it? Kong Yi Qianbei is here. The judges saw Kong Yi, who was rushing over, and all got up. He was clearly very excited and was even shaking a little while walking. Mu Yiqing and company were watching stage 10 nervously. When Yi Mo finished, they finally saw him. Mu, he shouted in excitement. Martial uncle, Yi seems to be the first to finish. He really is good, isn't he? But Uncle Zhao and Mu Yiqing's heart sunk. They saw Yi Mo finish first, but he might not have been the first to actually finish the question. Every one of the top 10 were more famous than Yi Mo, yet Yi Mo finished before them. They just hoped Yi Mo didn't mess up too much. That Yemo finished already. Did he finish the task? The big manager was also watching Yemo phone. Jiqing saw this and breathed easy. Clearly, he assumed that Yemo had failed. He probably failed. What a pity, but he's a greenhorn after all. He has never come to such a tournament, and he used Foundation Establishment State Chi Fire. Yan Jun said coldly, Elderfun, how can you be sure that he failed? I see him sitting there calmly. He didn't seem to fail anything. Big manager sneered, and they both shut up. 15 minutes later, the examiner said, all contestants, please stop. Time is up. Whether you have finished your pill or not, please put your jade bottle in the teleportation formation and remain seated on your seats. The judges will give a ranking of the top 100. Yemo heard this and thought, does this mean that even before the third round, the top 100 of the Hall of Fame will be decided? The examiner continued at this moment. The second round's top 20 will go into the third round. The 21st to the 100th contestants will end at the second round, but they will be the new members of the Hall of Fame. Yemo understood. This meant that the exact rankings of the 1st to 20th spots were still yet to be decided. If this were on Earth, there would be at least 7 or 8 rounds. But Yemo liked how quick they did things here more. Yemo just wanted the tournament to end now. He didn't have to go to the third round. Meanwhile, at the judge panel, everyone stood around Kong Yi, who was looking at the spirit-weaving pill in his hands. Kong Yi Qianbei, the pill tester, is here. Should we test it now? Someone came up and bowed to Kong Yi. Kong Yi frowned and said, when did I say to let a pill tester test the spirit-weaving pill? The man was dazed and subconsciously replied, Elder, you ordered this. He didn't understand why Kong Yi said this. Each tournament, there would be pill testers to test the pills. Even big sects who came by some new pills would let pill testers test them. Kong Yi waved his hand. No need. I will test this spirit-weaving pill personally. If it really can recover spirit sense, then this is a revolutionary pill. Kong Yi dazed for a moment as he looked to the south. Our North Far State could be called lucky if so little as one cultivator were to reach the hollow spirit state each year. Yet in the South Peace State, there are often cultivators ascending into the immortal realm. One reason for this is the lack of spirit chi here. But the main reason is that we don't have excellent talent, and when we do, we can't keep them either. Then he looked around and said, this pill concoctor was able to create the spirit-weaving pill. That is not only important to our state, but also to the entire Luoyu continent. This is talent. Yemo Sai Kong Yi sighed and ate the pill. Chapter 900. The Contestant Who Set a Precedent. Chapter 900. The contestant who set a precedent. The contestants didn't have to wait too long until the examiner came again. Everyone held their breaths. It was the decisive moment when they could know whether they had entered the Hall of Fame. The examiner looked around and nodded. The results of the second round will be released now. The 21st to 100th rankings have been chosen. I will read the names now. Listen carefully. However, it had already quietened down a lot there. The examiner cleared his throat and started calling names. Aqua C Sex Wang, AI 6. For points, total points 13. 4. Ranked 100th, Snow Mountain Mosques Jing Chi 6. For points, total points 13. 5. Ranked 99th, etc. Solo Cultivator Wu Yonglin 6. 8 points, total points 14. 5. Ranked 53rd, Immortal Treasure Towers, Lu Qianyu 7. 2 points, total points 14. 5. Ranked 52nd, etc. Yemo noticed that there were ranking differences even among people with the same points. It might have been based on minor aspects. Sea Palaces, Zhanlong 7. 8 points, total points 15. 5. Ranked 23rd. Ghost Immortal Sex, Lu Huliang 7. 8 points, total points 15. 6. Ranked 22nd. Heaven Pill Sex Heliang 7. 9 points, total points 15. 7, ranked 21st. Then the examiner paused for a moment before continuing. Immortal Herb Valleys, Guang Wei 7. 9 points, total points 15. 8, temporarily ranked 20th, etc. Heaven Pill Sex Kaixing 8. 1 points, total point 16. 1, temporarily ranked 14th. Pill Cauldron Sex Wan Guoping 8. 2 points, total point 16. 3, temporarily ranked 10th, etc. Ghost Immortal Sex Wenren Fu 8. 5 points, total point 17. Temporarily ranked 6th. All Beast Mountains Zhuang Man 8. 5 points, total point 17. 1, temporarily ranked 5th. Immortal Herb Valleys Qin Mushin 6. 8 points, total point 17. 3, temporarily ranked 4th. God Sword Sex Shi Qi 8. 5 points, total point 17. 4, temporarily ranked 3rd. Solo Cultivator Yi Chengjun 9 points, total points 18, temporarily ranked 2nd. When the examiner read this name, the entire scene burst into disbelief. Yi Chengjun, the Pill King, first one for 3 consecutive decades, had only ranked 2nd. No way! This impossible! Some cultivator screamed. Something smells fishy. Definitely. Call out the first guy. Let's see what kind of backdoor means he has. It's obvious something is not right. Chen Pill King was first for 3 consecutive decades and got 18 points. How can he be 2nd? I think it's because he's a solo cultivator and has no connections. This isn't right, other than the ones you've already called out. Even if it were someone who got 10 points in the 2nd round, they wouldn't be able to beat his 18 points, some cultivator said. Who had a high rank in the 1st round and hasn't been called out. Someone called Yi Mo from the Herb Pill sect. He's a dark horse, but he only got 8 points in the 1st round. Even if he got 10 points in the 2nd round, he can't be 1st. 10 points? Keep dreaming? This tournament has been running for thousands of years. Who did you see that got 10 points in a single round? Qin Yejuan was also shook. How could someone get higher results than him? The examiner hadn't expected this chaos. He pressed his hand together and said, "Everyone calm down. The first master of the 2nd round will be announced by Kong Yiqianbei. I believe he will give everyone a satisfactory explanation." With this, everyone calmed down. Kong Yiqianbei was very respected. He was just and the most high-achieving Pill King in the Northvar state. No one dared to doubt his words. Even Yi Mo was suspicious. He hadn't thought he would get 10 points on the 2nd round. He knew the spirit-weaving pill was rare, but he had the even better spirit recovery pill, so he didn't think much about it. His heart had sunk when his name hadn't been called in the last 20 rankings. He subconsciously glanced at Wan Guoping. If someone was playing tricks, Wan Guoping was the most suspicious, but he still had a sliver of hope. After all, the last name hadn't been called out. Perhaps he would be lucky enough to get it. When Kong Yi appeared, Yi Mo couldn't tell the man's age, but he could see he was definitely stronger than Tong Wuxing and Sima Zhu. He wasn't tall and instead seemed feeble. However, he tried checking the man's power and realized he couldn't see it at all. It was the first time this happened. He could sense even the hollow spirit state middle stage power dark-faced Tong had, but that old man felt like an enormous ocean to him. Yi Mo was sure that the man was at least at hollow spirit state, primary stage, or even beyond that. At this moment, Yi Mo felt the old man look over at him. He had felt a benign will from the old man, but he still quickly took back his spirit sense. He couldn't even resist against a master of his level. Kong Yi stood at the stage. There seemed to be excitement in his eyes. He glanced at Yi Mo and then said, "Everyone must be wondering why I must personally announce the #1 master of this tournament, but I believe everyone will understand why after hearing me out." His voice wasn't loud, but everyone heard it clearly, as though he was speaking in front of them. Herb Pill Sex Yi Mo 10 points. Total points 18. Ranked first. Kong Yi didn't even say. Temporarily ranked. Rumble. The discussion below could no longer be stopped. Yi Mo had been a dark horse until the end and got in first place. How had he done it? There had never been a single person with full marks. Some people said in enlightenment, I finally understand why he ranked first. Although he has the same points as Yi Qingjun, he got 10 points in one round. So he's first. That should be right. 10 points. I don't think Kong Yiqianbei would lie. It seems he really is a genius. Chun Yejuan's heart was bitter. He had thought that it didn't matter if he got first or not, but when it really came to it, he felt it hard to accept this fact. He had a subconscious thought. They both had 18 points. Had first place been given to that new guy because he had been first 3 times in a row? Yi Mo was also surprised. He had never expected he would get 10 points in the second round. Kong Yi waited for people to quieten down before saying, if everyone thinks that Yi Mo got first place because he received 10 points in the second round, then you're all wrong. Hearing this, people started to listen closely again. Was it not due to Yi Mo getting full marks, which had never happened in the millenniums the tournament had been held? Kong Yi continued, yes, it's due to another reason. Everyone knows that the spirit attraction grass can't be added to a pill. So the spirit attraction herb was used in the first round to increase the judging speed. However, someone used it in a pill recipe and formed the spirit weaving pill recipe. To be honest, when I saw this recipe, I admired the contestants' innovative idea and intelligence, but I never dared to imagine it would succeed. Suppressing the once again heated discussion, Kong Yi continued, hence, I would like to thank Judge Wang Zongjin. He didn't easily neglect our contestants' replied. He looked carefully at this pill recipe and gave us a positive feedback. So, Kong Yi looked around and said slowly, this contestant should have got 9 points on the first round. If we had taken into consideration his recipe, then he might have even gotten 10 points again. However, I only gave him 8 points before, and this in itself is unfair. So that's it. Doesn't that mean that Yi Mo got 20 points in the first 2 rounds? It sounds a little unfair. Some people doubted his words. Kong Yi said again, it's not unfair. Even if he had gotten 20 points, it's not the reason I want him to get the first place. Yi Mo raked first because he made the spirit weaving pill, a spirit pill that can repair and recover spirit sense. He has set a precedent on Luo Yu continent. With this, the crowd finally erupted uncontrollably. Chapter 901. Pill Concoction Hall of Fame Number 1. Chapter 901. Pill Concoction Hall of Fame Number 1. Hearing this, Yi Chengjun looked at Yi Mo with a face full of shock. He finally understood why Yi Mo placed first. Yi Chengjun accepted his loss. Although he had also made pills, 3 of them at that, they were nothing compared to the spirit weaving pill. He had at most made some changes to another existing recipe. The spirit weaving pill meant countless wealth and more safety for a cultivator. Due to this, Yi Mo would be number 1 even if he didn't participate in the 3rd round. Countless people looked at Yi Mo with fiery eyes. There wasn't a person around who didn't want to get on Yi Mo's good side now. At the spectator area, the herb pill sex people were completely dumbfounded. They never would have thought that a random pill master they found would help their sect get first place. But then they also immediately thought of how much pandemonium the spirit weaving pill would create. As long as Yi Mo just gave a little spirit weaving pill to their sect to sell, their sect would rise into the sky. Their other pills would sell well too. Uncle Zao was very excited, but he knew what Mu Yiqing would be thinking. He coughed and said, sect leader, such a high profile might not be a good thing, I think. Mu Yiqing calmed down. He knew what Uncle Zao meant, of course. I know, but our herb pill sect was on the brink of its end anyway. If we don't create some sensation now, I don't think there will be any more purpose to our existence. Since the opportunity is here, I have to grasp it, even if there's a hefty price to pay. Uncle Zao nodded and didn't say anything. He knew Muiching was right. Sometimes being too timid would only lead a sect slowly towards destruction. Meanwhile, the Immortal Treasure Tower's big manager's face was so bleak right now that it felt like water could come out. He stared coldly at Feng Jiqing and said, "This is the pill master you said is just SOSO? Ranked number 1. And he created a pill like the spirit-weaving pill?" Feng Jiqing didn't dare to reply anything at all. He was also shocked that Yemo was able to create the spirit-weaving pill recipe and even make it. Even if Yemo hadn't gotten a top 10 spot, just the spirit-weaving pill alone could have allowed the Immortal Treasure Tower's fame to extend throughout the entire North Far state. If Yemo had represented the Immortal Treasure Tower to participate in the tournament, then they would be the ones benefiting the most, yet he had pushed away such an opportunity. There was no way the manager wouldn't be angry. "Big manager, I don't think there's no opportunity left. Yen Zheng is close to Yemo, and Yemo is helping the River State Immortal Treasure Tower. I think we should let Yen Zheng talk to Yemo after the tournament and let him come back to us." Yen Zheng used 10,000 SQM of land to get Yemo's help before. Now we can give him even better things, and there's no way he wouldn't agree. Big manager's face stayed bleak, but he still looked towards Yen Zheng. Yen Zheng knew he had to talk now. He was sneering inside, but he still bowed and said, "Big manager, Yemo's character is strong-willed. Although he values relationships, he is very keen on remembering goodwill and badwill. If we had always been nice to him and let him represent us, I think he wouldn't be able to reject our invitation, and he would even let the spirit-weaving pill be our unique pill. But since we already rejected him, I think it would be very hard to succeed even if I managed to talk to him." The big manager sneered and said, "No matter what, you must succeed. We cannot let him work with other pill towers. He has to be ours." Then he looked coldly at Yen Jun. Yen Jun knew what the big manager meant and said helplessly, "Xiaozheng, try harder. Aren't you close to that Yemo? Try to satisfy whatever needs he might have. If you succeed, the Immortal Treasure Tower won't disappoint you," the big manager added. Yen Zheng was feeling contemptuous, but he didn't dare to show it and could only nod in agreement. The craze finally ended, and everyone calmed down. Some powers were already thinking about how to establish relations with EMO and get the sales talks going for the spirit-weaving pill. Kong Yi looked at the crowd and continued, "I've already tested the spirit-weaving pill, and it really does have an immeasurable potency for spirit sense recovery." Some cultivators yelled, "Pill Master, you was able to create the spirit-weaving pill. I don't think a third round is necessary. Why don't we just give him the number 1 spot in the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame?" "Yeah, we should," multiple people voiced their agreement. Kong Yi saw this and nodded happily. He was very happy that the people were able to realize how important the spirit-weaving pill was. "In that case, I hereby announce that the Hall of Fame will be ranked according to the second round. The second round itself is already very convincing. Furthermore, the Herb Valley that was scheduled to open in a month will now be opened up early," Kong Yi said. It was not just pill masters who could go to the Desert Plain Herb Valley. Kong Yi knew everyone was very anxious and immediately waved his hand. "But don't be hasty, everyone. Although it will open early, there will still be 4 days before you can go in. In 3 days, Broken Leaf City will open up the portal to the Herb Valley. I wish everyone luck. Now I would like to invite City, Lord Fong of Broken Leaf City, to give out the awards for the Hall of Fame as well as the Herb Valley spots and my Jade card for a one-time pill concoction for me." A round of heated applause ensued. Everyone was pretty happy with the results. Yi Qingjun knew that if the tournament went to the third round, he would be number 1 for sure. But since Kong Yi already said this much, and he had been first in 3 consecutive times already, he didn't really mind. He felt that Yi Mo deserved getting in first once for making the spirit-weaving pill. Little did he know that if Yi Mo used his Shen Nong cauldron and missed Lotus Heart Fire, he would be able to concoct even heaven-grade, level 3 pills. Kong Yi Qianbei Dash. As one of the judges, Elder Yu, heard this, he came out in shock. He knew that the Herb Valley would be opening up early, but the 3rd round would only take half a day. It wouldn't affect going to the Herb Valley. But before he could finish, Kong Yi waved his hand and said, "That will be all." Then he looked at Yi Mo and said, "Yi Mo, I am always at the Pill Association's HQ. If you have time, you can always come find me." Countless people looked at Yi Mo in admiration. Clearly Kong Yi treated Yi Mo very differently. Yi Mo said respectfully, "Thank you, Kong Yi Qianbei. Wan Bei will most certainly come visit Qianbei." He could feel that Kong Yi seemed to have nothing but goodwill towards him. Chapter 902, Fighting to Connect. Chapter 902, Fighting to Connect as the number 1 of the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame. Yi Mo not only got the number 1 badge and 3 spots to go into the Herb Valley, he also got a jade card that could request Kong Yi Qianbei to concoct a pill for him once. As soon as the award ceremony was over, Yi Mo was immediately surrounded with all sorts of people. "Brother Yi, I'm Heaven Forge Towers Chiu Tong. I want to invite you Dash. Pill Master Yi, I'm North Far Merchant Association's Li Yupu. May I have the honor of inviting you Dash Yi Qianbei?" These people surrounded Yi Mo. All of them wanted to invite Yi Mo or connect with him. Yi Mo knew this was more due to the spirit-weaving pill than having been chosen as the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame's number 1. "Everyone, due to the last rounds, I'm very tired. I need to rest, sorry." Yi Mo saluted with his fist those who stopped him. "Ha ha ha. Brother Yi, I knew you were no ordinary person. You're not someone those dimwits can compare with." Zhuang Man squeezed through the crowd and patted Yi Mo's shoulder hospitably. Then he glared at Wan Guoping. Wan Guoping sneered and left. Yi Mo saw this and sneered too. Zhuang Man looked coarse, but he had helped him. However, Yi Mo could tell this guy was using him to strike Wan Guoping. He had not only done that, but he had also made Wan Guoping gain an extra enemy, Yi Mo himself. Perhaps in Zhuang Man's heart, he should be thanking him for helping him. He had really planned this out well. Yi Mo smiled. Brother Zhuang did not end up poorly either. Number 5th in the Hall of Fame. If I hadn't happened to be lucky, I wouldn't have ranked as highly as Brother Zhuang. As soon as Wan Guoping turned around, he saw Yi Qinju. His eyes spun, and he immediately saluted him with his fists. "Brother Qin, you were really unlucky this time. If Kong Yi Qianbei hadn't cancelled the 3rd round, I think you would have still been the first this time." "That's right. If there were to be a 3rd round, it should be that the contestants concocted the best pill they can possibly make. I've never heard of anyone concoct a heaven-level pill with chi fire. Brother Qin is someone who can make heaven-grade pills," another cultivator said. Yi Mo studied the cultivator. He identified the cultivator as Shi Qi, God Sword Sex Pill Master. He had gotten 17 for points and had ranked 3rd. Yi Mo was confused. He hadn't offended this guy. Why was he targeting him? Just because you haven't seen it doesn't mean it can't be made. I can only say your horizons are narrow. I've seen heaven-grade pills made with chi fire, someone retaliated, clearly helping Yi Mo. Yi Mo checked out this pill master. It was Ghost Immortal Sex Wenren Fu. He had ranked 6th this time. Yi Mo realized that these people had their own conflicts. They were just using someone else to attack each other. Yi Mo sneered, but he didn't answer. Yi Qinju walked up to Yi Mo nicely and saluted him with his fists. "Pill Master, Yi created the spirit-weaving pill. Just by that you deserve the 1st place on Pill Concoction Hall of Fame." I admit my defeat. I'm Yi Chinju. If you have time, then I wish to visit you. Pill Master Yi. Yi Mo had a good impression of Yi Chinju. He was not young, but his face was genuine, and he didn't seem to look down on him at all. Yi Mo immediately saluted him with his fist. Okay, in that case, I'll be waiting for Brother Chen's honored arrival. Everyone, see you later. Then Yi Mo looked at Wan Guoping and said, Sorry, I'm fully in the Hall of Fame now. Then he turned and left. He didn't want to be involved in these conflicts. The crowd couldn't imagine that only Yi Chinjun had succeeded in inviting Yi Mo. However then, they remembered Yi Chinju was a pill king who had ranked second. Hence, they immediately turned to him. Helplessly, he replied a few questions and squeezed out of the crowd. When Yi Mo went outside, he found that Mu Yiqing and the others were already gone. They were probably back in the hotel, so he went there straight away. Marshal Brother Yi, you're back. Mu Yiqing saw Yi Mo come back and immediately greeted him. Mu He and Lu Ming looked at Yi Mo with admiration. They came from a small sect, so they rarely even got to see the tournament, much less the number one on the Pill Concoction Hall of Fame. Let's go inside and talk. Yi Mo only needed one of the 3 spots into the Herbal Valley. He was planning on giving the remaining 2 to Mu Yiqing. As for the jade card for asking Kong Yi to concoct pills, Yi Mo knew that it was pointless to give it to Mu Yiqing with his current power. If he needed pills, he might as well make them for him. He was planning on giving the jade card to Yan Zheng to pay back his help. Mu Yiqing smiled bitterly. Brother Yi, that might not be possible. There are some people looking around for you. They're waiting for you in the guest room. Yi Mo was dazed. He had just came back, yet these people had gotten there before him. Judging by Mu Yiqing's face, none of these people were someone he could offend, so he had to be very careful. He patted Mu Ying's shoulder and said, Brother Mu, go rest first. I will talk with you after I see these people. Before Yi Mo could go into the guest room himself, the hotel manager came to pick up Yi Mo. He was smiling so much. Clearly, many significant people had gone there and made his hotel rise in fame. He quickly bowed to Yi Mo. Pill Master Yi, I'll take you to the guest room. Yi Mo followed the manager there and found that there were 4 people. He knew Yan Zheng, but not the other 2 men and the woman. All 4 of them got up when Yi Mo walked inside. Yan Zheng walked up to Yi Mo and said, Brother Yi, let me introduce. He pointed at the bald man and said, This is Pill Association's Wu Tsai, Manager Wu. Seeing Yi Mo salute him with his fists, the man did the same. Pill Master Yi is young, yet capable. You are indeed a dragon amongst men. Yan Zheng then pointed at the green-dressed pretty young woman and the middle-aged man next to her. This is Pill Grind Hall's vice leader Chu Mei and Qin Bei, and the other is All Pill Tower's elder Hong Xian. Yi Mo greeted the 2 of them. Hearing the words All Pill Tower, Yi Mo looked at Yan Zheng in shock. Did he not know of their conflicts? Yan Zheng knew what Yi Mo was thinking and immediately said, Manager Hong Xian is only responsible for the All Pill Tower's HQ. He doesn't care about minor things. Seeing Hong Xian look at Yan Zheng in shock, Yi Mo immediately realized that Yan Zheng meant to say that Hong Xian probably didn't even know about their problems. I'm grateful that you could all come here. Please have a seat, Yi Mo said. When everyone sat down, Yi Mo sent off the waiter and smiled. I believe everyone is very busy. It's my honor that you were able to make time to come here. Chapter 903. Free. Chapter 903. Free. Yi Mo just wanted to say, hurry up and get this over with. If you want the spirit weaving pill, then please go. However, Yi Mo knew he couldn't say it out loud that straightforwardly. Any of the power figures present could easily annihilate him. Although he felt harassed, he still had to answer their requests. Wu Tsai heard this and immediately nodded. Pill Master Ye's future is very promising. Yi Mo was speechless. Wu Wutsai then said, "Actually, I'm representing the Pill Association to discuss something with Pill Master Yi." "Please say it, Manager Wu," Yi Mo said. The other people seemed to be held back by Wu Wutsai's identity, and therefore they just smiled on the side and didn't talk. Wu Wutsai coughed and said, "Pill Master Yi created the spirit-weaving pill. It's indeed huge good news for us cultivators." Even Kong Yichinbei praised it greatly. Yi Mo sneered. They had come for the spirit-weaving pill indeed. However, he still smiled at Wu Wutsai. "I was wondering if Pill Master Yi could give the recipe to the Pill Association in order to benefit a larger number of cultivators. No matter where on Luoyu continent, if someone created a pill recipe, then the recipe belonged to that person. If someone else wanted to use it, they needed the consent of the creator or it would be considered stealing. It wasn't something that happened frequently, however. Almost 99% of the pill recipes belonged to everyone. It was very rare that a pill recipe belonged to one specific individual. Yet, Yi Mo's spirit-weaving pill was different. He had created it during the tournament, and everyone knew it belonged to him. Wu Wutsai had come personally to get Yi Mo's consent. After all, a big organization like theirs needed their face. Everyone felt it was a normal request coming from Wu Wutsai. The pill recipe had already been made public. Wu Wutsai had come, which meant that the Pill Association would give Yi Mo some compensation. Still, it just depended on how much Yi Mo wanted. Yi Mo was contemptuous. The Pill Association had just sent a golden core state manager just to casually take his recipe. Even if he wanted some compensation, it would at most be a few spirit stones. It also showed that he wasn't very important to the Pill Association, despite having gotten the first spot on the Hall of Fame. Yi Mo smiled and saluted with his fist. However, he said, "Manager Wu, the recipe I created out of luck isn't for my personal gain. Hence, I won't just be giving this pill recipe to the Pill Association." Everyone was dazed. Was Yi Mo dumb? They were just asking to be polite. Did he think that other people couldn't make the pill? Yan Zheng quickly made a sign Yi Mo. He was really worried for Yi Mo. No matter how good his pill recipe was, it wasn't smart to offend the Pill Association for it. Wu Wutsai heard this, and his expression sunk. "If Pill Master Yi gives us the spirit-weaving pill, I believe it'll easy for you to become an elder too. Of course, if you're not willing, the Pill Association won't force you." Yi Mo sneered. He didn't care about becoming an elder. Chu Meiyan smiled and broke the awkward atmosphere. "I believe Manager Wu misheard Pill Master Ye's words. He said he won't just be giving it just to the Pill Association. I believe he has more to say." Everyone realized it too. Yi Mo had indeed said that. Yi Mo saw everyone look at him in confusion. So he got up and saluted with his fist. "As a cultivator, it's my honor that I can help everyone. Although I created the spirit-weaving pill, I might not even be able to concoct another batch." Just as Manager Wu said, the spirit-weaving pill is good news for the wide community of cultivators. Hence, I've decided to give the recipe to everyone. Anyone can make it. Yi Mo then looked at Wu Wutsai. "Manager Wu, since everyone can use it, the Pill Association can use it too." Yi Mo's words shook everyone. Wu Wutsai was representing the Pill Association to give Yi Mo some compensation. However, he hadn't expected that Yi Mo wouldn't want it, and he'd just give it away to everyone for free. Chu Meiyan and Hong Xian immediately rejoiced. If Yi Mo hadn't given them the right to do so, then they could have only made it in secret. Yet now, they could openly concoct it to earn money. Wu Wutsai was dazed. In that case, the Pill Association wouldn't get any advantages. Everyone could sell it, so the Pill Association wouldn't be able to use it to earn profit. Realizing this, Wu Wutsai quickly said, "Pill Master Yi, the recipe is the result of your hard work. How can you give it to everyone so casually?" Yi looked at Wu Wutsai cluelessly and said after a while, Manager Wu just said that the appearance of the spirit-weaving pill is good news for the entire community of cultivators. The Pill Association's purpose is also to benefit a greater number of cultivators. I deeply resonate with this, and thus, I'm very happy because I'm a pill master that's useful to people now. Wu Wutsai opened his mouth speechlessly, but he couldn't say anything. What could he say? You should only sell it to the Pill Association and get spirit stones for it? Don't let other people make it for free? Yi wasn't that dumb. He wasn't that noble neither. He knew that only he could make the spirit-weaving pill. So what if other people got the pill recipe? If he actually sold it to the Pill Association and they didn't manage to concoct the pill, they would go look him again. He might as well be more generous. Give it to everyone and let Wu Wutsai bite the dust. The spirit-weaving pill wasn't perfect in Yimo's heart. He planned to swap some ingredients when he had time. After a long while, Chu Meiyan saluted with her fist and said, Pill Master Yi is magnanimous. You just gave this money-making machine away. Yi waved his hand. Ha ha ha.